Chapter 4467. The Dark Cloud Demon was completely dumbfounded. He was an insightful emptiness realm expert and had even cultivated a Grand Tao. Of course, his Grand Tao was not very useful. His Grand Tao was just an ordinary Grand Tao. It was used for escaping. That was his Black Cloud escape. Unfortunately, he hadn't even been able to use it before it was taken down by someone else. It was like a huge slap to his face. If he had known that this guy was so strong in close combat at the beginning, the Dark Cloud Demon would have used the Black Cloud escape technique to escape. He would not have been so pitiful to be captured by this guy. Furthermore, his opponent had a secret technique that could turn this power into power shackles, sealing his power for the rest of his life. It was like a monarch. This was what scared the Dark Cloud Demon. Since when did such a secret technique exist? Even he had never seen it before. Now we can have a good chat. What do you think? Lin Fei looked at the Dark Cloud Demon with a smile. He didn't expect to receive such a huge gift before he left. That was right. In Lin Fei's eyes, this was a huge gift. An extremely huge gift. Normally, he would not encounter such a thing. If the Dark Cloud Demon hadn't been careless, it wouldn't have been so easy for Lin Fei to take it out. I know what you are thinking. You must be thinking that Ho Xingxing and the others will come. But you better give up. They will not be able to find this place. So, you can only behave yourself. Otherwise, I will tear you apart. Although you are very strong, you are nothing in front of me. Lin Fei laughed and took out the insightful emptiness weapon. Do you see this sword? This sword is extremely sharp. It can easily cut you into dozens of pieces. When the Dark Cloud Demon saw the insightful emptiness weapon, he sucked in a cold breath. Guan Yu was already so strong with his bare hands. If he were to be caught off guard and hit by this sword, wouldn't he suffer a big loss? This fiendish demon was simply too terrifying. The Dark Cloud Demon was indeed a little frightened. A Dongxi weapon. Even amongst the fiendish demons, only a few of them possessed Dongxi weapons. This was because they were simply too hard to come by. Basically, only heavenly insight, emptiness realm experts would possess Dongxi weapons. Who would have thought that this fiendish demon would already possess a whole void weapon? What do you want to know? I'll tell you. The Black Cloud Demon had a temper, but after encountering a fiendish demon that he was even more afraid of, he completely lost his temper. Because fiendish demons were never easy to talk to. In a moment of unhappiness, he directly chopped down with his sword. His physical body couldn't withstand it at all. At that time, it would really be over. Lin Fei smiled. That's more like it. If you're honest, you might be able to see the sun tomorrow. If you don't, then it'll be difficult to see the sun tomorrow. I'm not exaggerating, it's the truth. Lin Fei took out the piercing sky godly sword in order to provoke the Black Cloud Demon and let him know. Even if the fiendish demon's body was strong, it was only a matter of minutes. I'm quite interested in your demon desert. Tell me everything you know. As Lin Fei spoke, he took off the Black Cloud Demon's ring. Who knew how much wealth this guy had? The Dark Cloud Demon could only watch helplessly as the ring was snatched away. He couldn't resist. After explaining the situation, he didn't stop at all. As he spoke, Lin Fei would ask him questions. He didn't have time to think at all. Hence, he could only tell everything in full detail. From start to finish, he spoke for about 4 hours. Lin Fei finally understood the general situation of the demon desert. It was much more terrifying than he imagined. Luckily, he didn't enter the core area. Otherwise, he would have suffered. Lin Fei just wanted to know the situation of the demon desert. Of course, there was also the most important thing. Where else do you know of such a heavenly ghost tree? Lin Fei asked. He wasn't interested in anything else. For example, just now he glanced at the Black Cloud Demon's ring. There really wasn't anything good. He could be considered pauper. There weren't many things that Lin Fei was interested in. Hence, Lin Fei could only count on the heavenly ghost tree. Since there was one, there could be a second one. Hence, Lin Fei had to figure it out first. My lord, you're really making things difficult for me. I don't know of many heavenly ghost trees like this. This is the only one. Ho Shengsheng and the others found out about it with great difficulty. In the end, it was snatched away by you. Lin Fei asked many times. He was sure that this guy really didn't know about the heavenly ghost tree. Then, other than the heavenly ghost tree, where else do you know of such trees? Don't tell me you don't know. Lin Fei waved the Dongshu weapon in his hand. This thing won't be polite. When the time comes, it'll stab you here and there. It won't be easy to fix. Hearing this, the black cloud demon was scared out of his wits. If it's something else, then I do know. There are other trees like the heavenly ghost tree. Let me think. Lin Fei wasn't in a hurry. He knew this guy would definitely figure it out. There aren't any better trees than the heavenly ghost tree. But I know of a tree that's not as good as the heavenly ghost tree. It's called the heavenly demon tree, but it's very well protected. Lin Fei really didn't know about the heavenly demon tree, but hearing that these heavenly demon trees were slightly worse than the heavenly ghost tree was still a big gain. This was much more valuable than those 10 or 20-year herbs. Then tell me about the heavenly demon tree. I want to know. It was fine if he didn't know. Now that he knew about the heavenly demon tree, Lin Fei naturally didn't want to hold back. He wanted to listen to the situation first. The black cloud demon didn't dare to hesitate and quickly told him what he knew. It turned out that the heavenly demon tree was in the core area of the demon desert. It was heavily guarded. I heard that the biggest use of the heavenly demon tree is to cultivate the great Tao of the heavenly demon after swallowing it. Once that's done, you can summon heavenly demons. Lin Fei listened very seriously. He didn't expect the heavenly demon tree to have such a use. It seemed like it had many uses. So Lin Fei decided to study it carefully. After all, he still had a lot of time. If he could get the heavenly demon tree, that would be great. His strength would be able to increase by a large margin again. The black cloud demon heard the change in the other party's expression and knew that the other party had his eyes on the heavenly demon tree. He couldn't help but sneer in his heart. No matter how strong this guy was, could he take the heavenly demon tree away? Forget it. Chapter 4468. In the end, Lin Fei did not go to the demon desert. It was not right for him to go to the demon desert at this time. Therefore, Lin Fei decided to go back to the heaven-reaching church and finish the task first. He would get the 1,300 points and exchange them for something. When he came back, he would deal with the heavenly demonic tree. Anyway, the heavenly demonic tree was in the demon desert and could not run away. Therefore, he would get twice the result with half the effort if he went there now. Moreover, he would not be targeted by others. As for the black cloud demon, it was even simpler. Lin Fei had set up a trap for it directly. Even if the black cloud demon had some ideas, it could not break Lin Fei's trap at all. At first, the black cloud demon had planned to go back and break the trap secretly. However, it did not expect that after Lin Fei performed a little trick, the black cloud would suffer unprecedented pain. It could not bear the pain at all. It felt like it was dying. In this way, the black cloud demon completely accepted its fate. She no longer dared to have any other thoughts. She obediently listened to Lin Fei's words and did whatever he wanted. What you need to do now is very simple. Keep a close eye on the heavenly demon tree. When I come to the demon desert, report to me. If you have any tricks up your sleeves, the one I left on you can easily take your life. Even if you are thousands of miles away, I can still kill you. After Lin Fei let the black cloud demon go, he was sure that the black cloud demon had no way to break the trap. And the black cloud demon, fiend demon, also left obediently. After the black cloud demon left, Lin Fei also left. He had to go back to the heaven-reaching church. However, after passing through 2 prefectural cities, Lin Fei felt that he was being watched. The stalker was quite powerful. At least, he could not be sensed for a while. Interesting, really interesting. I did not expect someone to be watching me at this time. Is it Su Jinding's man? The first person that came to Lin Fei's mind was Su Jinding. Besides him, no one could ambush him at this time. No. And the people from Dusk Tavern. Lin Fei thought of another person. After all, he had been targeted by someone at that time. However, that person's methods were quite powerful, and at this time, it seemed very likely that they would target him. After Lin Fei flew for a while, all of a sudden, a powerful force pressed down on him, catching him off guard. Following that, streaks of light shot over. The power of the explosion hit Lin Fei's body like a torrent. Wave after wave was really hard to resist. Lin Fei was instantly hit. At this moment, the streams of light from below continued to bombard upwards. These streams of light all contained destructive power and were extremely powerful. It turned out that this was shot by a crossbow, and it even used the power of the Great Tao. Clearly, it was a priceless treasure, and now they were all used to deal with Lin Fei. In an instant, the scene became very lively. There were a total of 10 people below, all dressed in black, and they looked excited. After all, such a sneak attack on a pro-disciple of the sky reaching church gave them a sense of accomplishment. It seems that Lin Fei is not as powerful as I thought. He actually came back from the demon desert. Unfortunately, he was still ambushed by us, a man in black said coldly with a hint of pride in his tone. In order to deal with Lin Fei, they had really used a lot of means. Now it seemed that these means were still effective. They did not make their efforts in vain. He did not believe that Lin Fei could survive such an attack. After all, this was not an ordinary means. It was embellished with the power of the Great Tao. It could be said to be a real trump card. The price of such a bow and arrow was not cheap. It was worth 10,000 medium spirit stones. Not everyone could have such a bow and arrow. It was not so easy to get the goods. This was also one of the means of Dusk Tavern. Such a scene lasted for a total of half an hour. It could be said that it was overwhelming. Fortunately, they had already set up a formation. No one could perceive it at all. So, Lin Fei would definitely die this time. No one could stop it. The man in black kept staring at the sky. No one could escape. In other words, Lin Fei was hit at that moment. He had no chance to resist. Therefore, Lin Fei had probably been blasted into pieces by now. The man in black waved his hand. Everyone stopped. Such extravagant behavior was really rare. It seems that we can call it a day and finish the task. As soon as the man in black's voice trailed off, a figure appeared in front of them. He just stood there quietly. You guys are not bad. In order to kill me, you use such means. Fortunately, I, Lin Fei, have some means. Otherwise, I would have been smashed to pieces by you guys. The corner of Lin Fei's mouth rose slightly. He raised his hand and a sword light came out. As soon as this sword light appeared, it was a dazzling radiance that crushed everyone's bodies. A shield appeared in front of the man in black in an instant. It enlarged infinitely. However, the shield was cut open by the sword with a cracking sound. The sword light landed on him. In the blink of an eye, all the men in black were dead. None of them survived. You guys are brave. It's a pity that you don't know what I'm capable of. So, you can only blame your bad luck. Lin Fei's strength was no longer what it used to be. Moreover, after he swallowed the heavenly ghoul tree, his physical body became even more powerful. Although these crossbows had the power of the Great Path, these great powers were not at their peak. However, this great power was not at its peak. A little bit of it was indeed a terrifying weapon against an ordinary person. However, in front of Lin Fei, these things were really nothing. So, Lin Fei easily dealt with them. He even let them attack for half an hour. After making sure that there was no one else, they only showed up. Lin Fei had no intention of leaving anyone alive. These people were from the Dusk Tavern. It was normal for them to face them. Fortunately, they left a lot of things, which allowed Lin Fei to make a small profit. In particular, there were a lot of bows and arrows. Lin Fei did not stand on ceremony and took all of them. Anyway, it was a waste to keep them. It was better to let him take all of them away. Then the sword light swept over and smashed all these people into pieces. Then he left. He believed that the man from the sky, reaching church, must still be guarding. So Lin Fei had to meet him. He could not let him be happy in vain. Along the way, Lin Fei did not encounter anything else. Soon he returned to the sky reaching church. The sky reaching church was very big. They did not care much about a personal disciple like Lin Fei completing the mission. So Lin Fei completed the mission easily. He obtained 1,300 points. Chapter 44:69. He completed the first training task. Lin Fei got 1,300 points. He planned to exchange the 1,300 points for rewards. But Lin Fei decided to forget it and record it. After all, he still had 2 training tasks. Only by completing the 3 training tasks could he become a personal disciple of the heavens reaching church. After completing the first training ground mission, he could rest for a period of time before starting the second mission. For Lin Fei, this break was quite useful. At least he could find another target, like the heavenly demonic tree. As soon as he came out of the place where he handed in the task, Lin Fei was stopped by someone. The person who stopped him was a burly guy. He stood there casually, but his heavy aura seemed to be connected with the earth. Not far from him, there was another person standing. Lin Fei was most familiar with this person. It was Su Jinding. Su Jinding said with a faint smile, "Junior brother Lin Fei, we meet again. Congratulations on completing the first training task. You are really lucky. Who doesn't know that the demon desert is full of dangers? I didn't expect that you could come out of the demon desert." Su Jinding did not expect that Lin Fei would come out of the demon desert. When he learned that Lin Fei had handed in the task and came out, Su Jinding could not take it lying down. He was happy for nothing again. Lin Fei said with a smile when he saw Su Jinding, "Yeah, I also feel that I am very lucky. I didn't encounter any trouble in the demon desert and came out easily." Su Jinding tried his best not to be angry. "This is my senior brother. I heard that you are very strong, so I want to have a chat with you. Let's change places." Su Jinding said with a smile. This time, Su Jinding did not just come to see Lin Fei. As long as Lin Fei was not unlucky, Su Jinding would never be able to calm down. This time, he specially asked his senior brother to come. His senior brother was not good at anything else, but his defense was rare. It was impossible for him to defeat someone of the same realm. Since the demon desert was not going to work, Su Jinding thought of something else. No matter what, he had to deal with Lin Fei. The middle-aged man said, "Junior brother Lin Fei, I'm Su Jinding's senior brother Yi Dezhuang. Nice to meet you." Of course, Lin Fei had no interest in getting to know Yi Dezhuang. However, this guy really lived up to his name. He was really tall and sturdy, and he even seemed to have some magical abilities. Let's leave the conversation here. After all, I still have a lot of things to do. Lin Fei had no interest in chatting with Su Jinding. Su Jinding laughed and said, "I wonder if junior brother Lin Fei has any thoughts about these points." Lin Fei might not have any interest in other things, but the points were really interesting. Yi Dezhuang said, "If junior brother Lin Fei wants to obtain more points, why don't you follow me? If you're lucky, you might even be able to obtain quite a few points. Such a good opportunity is hard to come by." Lin Fei was not afraid that these 2 people would show off. He thought about it. "Then lead the way. I also want to see what these points are all about." Su Jinding and Yi Dezhuang flew forward. Lin Fei followed them. The Sky Reaching School was very big, and there was more than one place like Sky Reaching City. Fortunately, he had read the ancient books before, so he did not care much about this situation. This city was obviously much smaller than Sky Reaching City. Su Jinding was very familiar with this place. This is called Sky Reaching Second City. Only people with a certain status can come here. Outsiders have no chance at all. Lin Fei didn't make a sound. He just followed behind. Finally, they came to a huge courtyard. However, when they entered the courtyard, they found it very lively inside. It was completely different from the outside. This is the first place that our sky-reaching school's disciples come to the most. Because you can buy anything with points here, and you can also use points to trade. It's a place for us disciples to communicate with each other. Yi Dazhuang said. After that, they entered the hall. It turned out that there was an underground square under this courtyard. This square was very large and very lively. When Lin Fei came in, he saw a lot of things placed here, which were dazzling. The sky-reaching tower seemed to be similar, but it seemed that points were used here. However, what caught Lin Fei's attention most was a place like an arena in the middle. At this time, there were two people fighting on it. There were layers of ripples. A lot of people were watching from below. In less than a blink of an eye, one of them was defeated. He was sent flying and fell heavily on the ground. After seeing the scene on the arena, Lin Fei understood what was going on. Perhaps Su Jinding was thinking about his points. 1,300 points were not a small amount. Lin Fei laughed inwardly. He was really short of points at this time. The more points he got, the better it would be. Junior Fellow Apprentice Lin, this is a place for us to learn from each other. However, it's a bit different from other places. We stop here. If you want to go up there to fight, you have to use points as a wager. You and I have conflicts. How about going up there to fight? Su Jinding looked at Lin Fei and said, Lin Fei thought it was something important, but he really liked this kind of thing. Are you sure you want to learn from each other? I don't think you're strong enough. Yi Dazhuang laughed. Junior Fellow Apprentice Lin Fei, you're really straightforward. Of course, my junior fellow apprentice, Su Jinding, is no match for you. But this time, I'm ready to learn from you. I'm willing to pay 1,300 points. Let's go up there to learn from each other. How about it? Whoever wins can take the points. Lin Fei really wanted to tell Su Jinding that he was a good man. He actually gave him such a gift. 1,300 points. That would be earned for a long time. Lin Fei could even see that when Yi Dazhuang said 1,300 points, he more or less cared about it. One could imagine how difficult it was to earn points. Maybe Su Jinding contributed a part of the 1,300 points. Are you sure you want to fight me with 1,300 points? If you lose, it'll be really painful. Lin Fei said seriously, I think we should forget about it. Yi Dazhuang had never seen such a thick-skinned person. They haven't even fought yet, but he already thought that he was defeated. Did he really think that he was very powerful just because he was a personal disciple? Yi Dazhuang's earth defense was quite strong. I, Yi Dazhuang, am not that easy to defeat. I'm only asking you, do you dare? Lin Fei smiled and snapped his fingers. Since someone is giving me points, I definitely won't have a problem. Chapter 4470. For Lin Fei, coming to this place was really the right choice. He really wanted to earn some points here. After all, 1,300 points might seem like a lot, but in fact, it was really not a lot. If he could get another sum of money from Yi Dazhuang, that would be the best. Lin Fei saw that this seemed to be a good place to earn points. If Su Jinding hadn't brought him here, he would really have missed the opportunity. Su Jinding was really a good person. It was really rare to see such a good person. When Su Jinding saw Lin Fei agree, he let out a sigh of relief. Wait a minute. You will regret it one day. No one knew how strong Yi Dazhuang's defense was. He was simply like a meat shield. Coupled with his close combat skills, he was simply a mess. He was already ranked at the top among those in the same realm. Only a strong force could defeat Yi Dazhuang in a head-on attack. There were really not many people like him, unless it was those saints. Even the chosen might not be interested in making a move against him. Hence, Yi Dazhuang's influence in this circle was not small. When they knew that Yi Dazhuang was going to fight in the arena, they were all a little stunned. At this time, there was actually someone who dared to fight Yi Dazhuang in the arena. He must be crazy. Everyone wanted to see who wanted to fight Yi Dazhuang in the arena. Everyone knew that Yi Dazhuang's defense was a mess. It was no different from a meat shield. In addition, the area of the arena was so small. Once they exchanged blows, there would be no advantage at all. This was not the first time such a situation had happened. Hence, almost no one would go to fight with Yi Dazhuang, because there was no need. As long as you went up, you would definitely lose. Who do you think is going to fight with Yi Dazhuang this time? I think there is an 80% chance that he will lose. What 80%? He will definitely lose. Who doesn't know Yi Dazhuang's ability? After going up on the stage, everyone's eyes were fixed on him, until Lin Fei went up on the stage. This made them slightly stunned. For a moment, they didn't recognize this young man. Who is it? Why does he look so unfamiliar? Of course you don't know him. This is a fierce fellow that managed to rush through Skysplit Tower's 60th and 70th floors. I heard that his name is Lin Fei, and he has become a disciple of Guanji Wanzi. That's right. That's the one who became Guanji Wanzi's disciple. In that case, he will regret it. No wonder he dares to fight Yi Dazhuang at this moment. He has probably been fooled to the point of no return. In everyone's opinion, this Lin Fei had been duped. Although Lin Fei's previous performance in Tongtian Tower was very good, Lin Fei was still able to defeat him. He was a far cry from Northern Sky, Xian Juqin. Clearly, not many people remembered him. Right then, there were also many people gathered in the square. Among them were Northern Heavenly Immortal and Juqin. Both of them had their own circles. When they had nothing to do, they would come here to sit for a while. They were quite surprised to see Lin Fei. They had quite an impression of Lin Fei. Of course, it was just a vague impression. He didn't think much of it, although there were quite a few levels between them. The difference between them was still quite huge. Just like them, they had become saints in one go. In addition to the short period of cultivation, they had improved by leaps and bounds. The two of them were already at the Hollowness realm. Their cultivation speed was quite fast. Although they were only at the small Hollowness realm, they were already top-notch existences in the small Hollowness realm. This was where their foundation lay. When Lin Fei stepped onto the stage, he could feel many gazes landing on him. He didn't really care. Yi Dazhuang looked over. Use all your skills to attack. Otherwise, you won't have a chance to attack later on. When Lin Fei stepped onto the stage, he had already left 1,300 points on the stage. Yi Dazhuang did the same as well. At that time, whoever won or lost, the points on the other party's card would be swiped. It was very simple. It was also very fair. At the very least, he didn't have to worry that the loser would go back on his word. Senior brother, since you are so polite, if I don't attack, I would be letting you down. Lin Fei chuckled and slashed with his sword. The sword transformed into thousands of sword shadows that bombarded Yi Dazhuang's body. With this attack, layers of scales appeared on Yi Dazhuang's body. The scales covered his entire body, making him look no different from a rock. Lin Fei knew that this fella had a defense. When the sword light landed on his body, sparks flew. This defense was indeed very strong. Even the people on the ground were shocked. Senior brother Ye's defense is even stronger now. That's right. I heard that this cultivation technique is a fusion of the demon clan's cultivation technique. It's most proficient in defense. That fella is probably a little dumbfounded. However, this sword technique is really strong. When Lin Fei attacked, everyone saw the strength of his sword technique. Lin Fei only used a little of his strength to test the waters. With this test, he knew that Yi Dazhuang's defense was really strong. If this is all you have, then you are going to lose today. Yi Dazhuang hooked his finger. Su Jinding, who was below, also had a smile on his face. This time, no matter what, he wanted to make Lin Fei suffer a big loss. It would be best to let him lie in bed for 3 to 5 years. It was inevitable that there would be mistakes in a spar. After all, no one could guarantee that they would have perfect control of their strength. Su Jinding didn't believe that Lin Fei could survive under Yi Dazhuang's strong defense. His attack now was nothing more than a joke. Lin Fei attacked again. It was still the same sword light. However, he still couldn't do anything to Yi Dazhuang. Yi Dazhuang laughed. "It seems that you are going to lose today." Yi Dazhuang moved too. His whole body moved over in an instant. This kind of movement was not the same as usual. It was like shrinking a small area. Lin Fei knew at first glance that this should be the ability to shrink the ground to an inch. However, his shrinking the ground to an inch seemed to be higher and more powerful. Lin Fei blocked it with a sword light and saw Yi Dazhuang's fist smashing down. After the punch came down, one after another, the ripples were like sharp awls as they directly attacked. The sword light that Lin Fei displayed was constantly broken. Lin Fei took a step back, and the sword intent around him appeared even more. However, to Yi Dazhuang's surprise, his punch didn't reach the end. Just like that, his strength was drained. It was a little surprising. No wonder Su Jinding was not this guy's opponent. This sword technique was really good. But of course, that was all. Chapter 4471. Yi Dazhuang's attacks didn't stop at all. One punch after another. The power of each punch would form a cone-shaped shape as it attacked ferociously. It had an extremely strong penetrative power, and the power instantly increased by several times. This was Yi Dazhuang's method. Coupled with the scales that covered his body, as well as his strength, no one would be able to withstand a single blow from him. This was also Yi Dazhuang's most powerful technique. Every strike sent chills down the spines of the people below. If they were to go up against him, they basically wouldn't be able to withstand it. At first, they thought that Lin Fei definitely wouldn't be able to withstand it. They didn't expect him to be so hard to deal with. This guy's swordsmanship was also outstanding. It constantly created layers of ripples, and he was actually able to withstand it easily. This made many people suck in a breath of cold air. This kid's swordsmanship is amazing. The power can actually increase. Then you guys are very wrong. The biggest advantage of this guy's swordsmanship is his speed. Take a closer look and you'll know. An expert with a sword immediately said the reason. At first, everyone thought that Lin Fan was only good at swordsmanship. Now, it seemed to be a little different. After they carefully observed it, they really did see something unusual. Lin Fan's sword intent was very thick, and the important thing was that it was fast. Unknowingly, it disintegrated Yi Dazhuang's technique. He reckoned that even if the remaining power affected Lin Fei, it wouldn't be too much of a threat. After such a person saw it, the others also saw it one after another. Yi Dazhuang, who was in the arena, only felt that his ferocious and powerful punch didn't hit Lin Fan at all. Instead, it was easily disintegrated by Lin Fan. This was a little unbelievable. He hadn't encountered such a situation in a very long time, because once he made his move, there was basically no one who could stop him. What kind of swordsmanship is this? After Yi Dazhuang punched out once again, the power instantly disintegrated into several parts. It kept losing contact with him. Yi Dazhuang couldn't help but exclaim. Lin Fei's life-taking sword was able to disintegrate this power layer by layer as soon as its speed increased. Lin Fei was the only one who could execute such a sword technique. My sword technique is actually quite ordinary. I can only say that your strength is too weak. It seems that your strength is only SOSO. Then it's my turn to attack. Lin Fei laughed. With this smile, the sword light shone brightly like a blazing sun. It instantly exploded in front of Yi Dazhuang. After hearing the clanking sounds, Yi Dazhuang didn't know how many attacks he had suffered. Every time a strike landed on his body, his entire body would tremble, and white marks would appear on his scales. Behind the white marks, there were actually pits. This situation had never happened before, but now it actually happened to him. Yi Dezhuang kept retreating, but the more he retreated, the more the sword light enveloped him, not dissipating at all. No matter how strong he was, he couldn't break through this dazzling light. No one knew how long this kind of attack lasted. Yi Dezhuang felt that it was 10 breaths, sometimes 30 breaths, and sometimes even longer. But soon he retreated to the edge of the arena. As the sky full of sword light turned into a bright spot, it exploded on his body. Yi Dezhuang could hear the continuous cracking sounds in his ears. Then the scales that he was so proud of actually shattered just like that, leaving countless cracks all over his body. A sword light landed in between his eyebrows. "Sorry, I won this round." Lin Fei's lips curled up and he smiled faintly. This scene also shocked everyone present. After all, the sword light was so fast that they couldn't even catch a trace of it. They were shocked. This made them realize that Lin Fei wasn't as simple as he said. He was a little too strong, and he actually walked the swift sword Dao. And it was also the first time they had encountered such a fast sword technique. Now, they finally knew why Yi Dezhuang wasn't a match for him. It was because the power didn't even hit Lin Fei. It was disintegrated by the swift sword. Such an opponent was really difficult to deal with. Yi Dezhuang took a deep breath. This should be the swift sword Dao. I didn't expect there to be such a fast sword. No wonder my power didn't affect you at all. Lin Fei said, "If you want to spar with me next time, feel free to come. I'm always ready." Su Jinding, who was below the arena, felt his heart bleeding. One must know that he contributed 700 points. He didn't expect that he would give it to Lin Fei. How long would it take for him to earn those points back? Su Jinding wanted to roar. Yi Dezhuang flipped over and landed in the arena. Lin Fei also successfully got his points, from 1,300 points to 2,600 points. I heard that there are quite a few experts here. I, Lin Fei, would like to meet with everyone. Whoever defeats me will be able to take away these 2,600 points. However, if you lose, you will have to pay 500 points. I wonder if anyone would be interested in this. After Lin Fei got the points, he didn't come down. Instead, he said to everyone, many people were agitated by his words. Using 500 points to earn 2,600 points. Such a good thing was really tempting. Many of the direct disciples felt that Lin Fei had some tricks up his sleeve. He dared to talk to them like that. It seemed that he wanted to fight with the expert disciples of the sky-reaching church. However, there were many expert disciples of the heavens-reaching church here. Lin Fei came up with such an idea on a whim. After all, using 500 points to earn 2,600 points was very attractive to anyone. Lin Fei rarely came here. He definitely wanted to earn some points. If he could defeat a dozen experts here, he might be able to earn 10,000 points. At that time, he could exchange them for good things. Such an opportunity must not be missed. Even if it was a little arrogant in their eyes, Lin Fei didn't think so. In fact, many people were tempted by Lin Fei's words. Using 500 points to earn 2,600 points was indeed a great temptation. The referee over there had obviously encountered this situation many times. Except for a little surprise, he didn't say anything. It seemed that he allowed everyone to come up and fight. Junior brother Lin, you practice swordsmanship, so do I. Let's have a try. It's just 500 points. At this time, a sword light flew over. It directly landed on the arena. The man was like a sword. The sword intent was sharp. Chapter 4472. A swordsman went up the stage. This swordsman was around 30 years old, but his entire body was as sharp as a sword. Even though he didn't attack, everyone could feel his terrifying sword intent. It was extremely strong. However, when this person went up the stage, many people recognized him. Isn't that the little sword saint? This is going to be interesting. Little Sword Saint versus Lin Fei. I'm afraid that Lin Fei's fast sword won't be able to block the Little Sword Saint's fast sword. Who doesn't know that the Little Sword Saint specializes in fast swords? After everyone recognized him, they became even more excited. This was because the Little Sword Saint specialized in fast swords. Moreover, he was unbelievably fast. No one had ever been able to block his attacks during a fight. When Lin Fei saw that this was a swordsman expert, he was a little surprised. This was because his opponent's sword intent was quite strong. The words of the others also fell into Lin Fei's ears. Fast sword. This was interesting. No wonder the other party dared to come up. I heard that you use fast swords. I also use fast swords. Let's have a good fight. The moment the Little Sword Saint said that, he instantly attacked. Sword lights filled the sky, but he didn't move at all. The sword lights came one after another. Lin Fei smiled as ripples appeared around him. Actually, I also want to know how fast my fast sword is. Then, sword lights flashed and he moved. Everyone only heard the loud banging sounds. The Little Sword Saint staggered and retreated to the edge of the stage. White marks were left on his body. He looked a little lonely. As expected of Guang Yuanzi's personal disciple, I can't compare to you in terms of fast swords. The Little Sword Saint flipped and got off the stage. This scene happened too quickly, so quickly that everyone found it hard to believe. Everyone knew that the Little Sword Saint was famous for his fast sword, but now he actually couldn't defeat Lin Fei. What was going on? There were only a few people present who could see clearly. Not far away, North Heaven Immortal smiled and said, "This Lin Fei has some skills." No wonder the Little Sword Saint couldn't defeat him. The people around him were all curious. Senior Bei, is that Lin Fei's fast sword really that powerful? Because they didn't see it clearly at all. Therefore, he was looking forward to this fight even more. Bei Tianxian smiled and said, "Just now, the Little Sword Saint used 128 swords. This Lin Fei is amazing. He used 238 swords, which is 100 swords more than him. How can the Little Sword Saint not lose?" The surrounding people also heard North Heaven Immortal's words and were shocked. Although they knew that the Little Sword Saint would appear very quickly, they didn't dare to underestimate him. Therefore, when they fought with the Little Sword Saint, they would always try to take the initiative. Once the opponent used his sword technique, he would be above you, and you would not have any advantage at all. However, in the blink of an eye, the Little Sword Saint had unleashed 138 swords. Lin Fei was even more terrifying. He had unleashed 238 swords, which was 100 swords more than the Little Sword Saint. It was no wonder that the Little Sword Saint had been unable to defeat him. After Lin Fei defeated the Little Sword Saint, he looked over. "I wonder who else wants to come up and have a taste of my sword technique. Now, it's 500 points to bet on 3,100 points. Where else can I find such a good opportunity?" When the people present heard this, they didn't know whether to laugh or cry. From the moment the Little Sword Saint had unleashed his sword, they realized that Lin Fei was very strong. These 3,100 points weren't that easy to earn. However, it was extremely attractive. "Since the Little Sword Saint isn't your opponent, let me do it." At this moment, another nimble figure flew up. It was the figure of a midget. After this figure flew up, an ominous glint flashed and instantly turned into an invisible tornado that covered the entire arena. As soon as the tornado opened, the dwarf boy disappeared without a trace. At the same time, the midget's voice echoed in the arena. "Aren't your sword technique very powerful? Then break my tornado. I have already fused with the tornado. If you want to defeat me, you have to break this tornado." The hurricane spun faster and faster. In an instant, it had enveloped Lin Fei. Countless attacks flew over continuously. Senior Brother Fong's tornado technique is still the best. This tornado technique is suitable for small places. Lin Fei won't be able to block it at all. Lin Fei's sword technique is fast, but Senior Brother Fang's movement technique is fused with the tornado. There's no way to find his true body. As long as you can't find his true body, you can't defeat him. This midget kid's surname was Fang, and he could be considered a senior brother. He had the strength of a nascent soul stage cultivator. His tornado technique was very powerful. In such a small position, he was able to gain a great advantage. When the other party spoke, Lin Fei knew that this guy still had some tricks up his sleeve. He actually knew a powerful concealment technique. Although he seemed to be talking to Lin Fei and seemed to be in the tornado, he wasn't. He was actually hiding in the depths of the void. This technique was very unbelievable. Lin Fei knew that an arena like this was covered with arrays, and it was impossible to reach the depths of the void. However, this senior brother Fang was really hiding in the depths of the void, and there was no trace of him. If one thought that he was hiding in the tornado, then that would be a huge mistake. He was afraid that this guy was hiding in the void and would secretly make a sneak attack. Lin Fei laughed, and his sword intent spread out in the surroundings. Then he clashed with the tornado. The tornado got stronger and stronger. However, it still couldn't break Lin Fei's sword light. Just at that moment, a person appeared. It was the midget kid with 2 pairs of gloves. The gloves were claw-shaped, and they shone with a cold light. Just as he was about to attack, Lin Fei stabbed out with his sword, and thousands of sword lights struck the midget kid's body. The midget kid was sent flying. "I'm sorry. I have already found out where your true body is." Just as the midget kid was about to hide in the void once more, a miniature sword light prison instantly enveloped him. There was a loud explosion. The power exploded on the midget's body, and he fell to the ground injured. "You can actually see where I am hiding. Then I won't lose unjustly." The midget kid admitted defeat without hesitation. He flipped and jumped off the arena. Lin Fei defeated 2 experts in a row. His points also increased from 3,100 to 3,600. This also made more people realize that Lin Fei was much stronger and more terrifying than they had imagined. If anyone were to go against such a person, they would definitely have no chance of winning. Lin Fei was still really calm. "Actually, my sword technique is a little stronger. Senior brothers, don't stand on ceremony. Come up and spar with me. It's okay even if you take turns to fight me. Otherwise, I will feel bad for taking so many points." Many people were speechless. Chapter 4473. The sparring in the ring continued. After all, the temptation of the points was still quite great, especially since Lin Fei was still a newcomer. That's right. In the eyes of these pro-disciples, Lin Fei was a genuine newcomer. Relying on his powerful swordsmanship, he actually didn't take them seriously. Even if he defeated 2 experts in a row, in their eyes, he wasn't that powerful. What's more, he even proposed a tag battle. If they didn't teach Lin Fei a lesson, how would they survive in the future? So one by one, they went up to spar. There was a loud bang. Another was kicked down, fell to the ground, and took a few steps back. After cupping his hands, he turned around and left. This seems to be the 12th one. This Lin Fei is really powerful. With such a fast sword, he can actually defeat 12 pro-disciples in a row. If this guy reaches the insightful Void Realm, wouldn't his strength be even more terrifying? He's in the Golden Core Realm, but his strength is really tyrannical. He can be compared with the veteran nascent Soul Realm. After seeing another disciple being kicked down, many people shook their heads. Everyone realized that this Lin Fei was indeed a bit strong. At least in the Golden Core Realm, it was very rare to have such strength. This was clearly the strength of a veteran nascent Soul Realm cultivator. And the points also rose quickly, breaking through to 10,000 points. It was considered a big number. I don't know who is planning to come down and challenge me. If there's no one, then I'm leaving. These 10,000 points can be exchanged for a lot of things. Lin Fei chuckled. At this time, no one dared to casually go up to the ring. After all, their strength was similar, Even if they went up, they would be defeated. Instead, they would be giving points to others for no reason. They really couldn't do this kind of thing. Lin Fei was originally planning to wait for more people, but in the end he was a little disappointed. No one actually came up. This made his intention to make a fortune completely disappear. And just when Lin Fei was planning to come down, a voice rang out, 10,000 points, so many points, I want it. A very ordinary person walked over. When this person appeared, many people blinked their eyes. He was a little unfamiliar, because they really did not know who this person was. This person is quite unfamiliar. Who knows where he came from? I really can't recognize him. He must be a newcomer. After all, our heavens-reaching church has so many disciples, more than 100,000. It would be strange if he could recognize him. Many senior and junior brothers are not in the sky-reaching church. They are all out to gain experience. Everyone came back to their senses at once. This explanation was indeed very reliable. It was also very difficult for them to recognize all the disciples of the heavens-reaching church. What made them curious was that this person didn't know Lin Fei's strength and was really planning on fighting him. When Lin Fei heard the voice, he knew who it was. He didn't expect that the assassin would want to spar with him at this time. He was really bold. It seemed that he was determined to defeat him, or perhaps he was planning to play some tricks on the stage. Lin Fei hadn't even gone to look for him, but the other party had come first. This person didn't walk very fast. Very slowly. He went to the stage leisurely. From beginning to end, he didn't have a strong aura. The more it was like this, the more Lin Fei knew that once this person took action, it would definitely be a storm-like attack. Lin Fei was also very curious about the killer move of this Dusk Tavern assassin. After all, such opportunities were really rare. Therefore, Lin Fei was quite looking forward to it. Junior brother Lin Fei, I'm going to attack now. You'd better be careful. I haven't used this move yet. After all, 10,000 points is too tempting. No matter what, I have to get my hands on it. This person's voice was very cold. It was as cold as being in an ice cave. Even this person was unreasonably ordinary. Even if Lin Fei took a look at him, he could not remember him for a moment. He also realized that this person must have a treasure or practice some secret method. It made people unable to remember him in a short time. Perhaps this was one of the great abilities of the Dusk Tavern. Lin Fei smiled. Don't worry. As long as you can defeat me, you can take these 10,000 points. I have nothing to say. After all, a loss is a loss. I'm a very open-minded person. Rainstorm. As soon as Lin Fei's words left his mouth, the man made his move. It was really like a storm. His entire body actually transformed into a black rain. Drip, drip, drip. This kind of method shocked everyone present. Not just anyone could use such a technique. He comprehended the great Tao. Heavens, an insightful emptiness expert actually came. This great Tao is also very powerful. He can actually comprehend it so quickly. Then this Lin Fei is definitely going to lose. Many people recognized that this was a technique of the great Tao, because this was no longer something that simple techniques could compare to. North Heaven Immortal and Ju Qin stood up. They were a little surprised. After all, there were no insightful emptiness experts among them. Insightful emptiness experts wouldn't come here and bully the weak. Even though these 10,000 points were useful to insightful emptiness experts, they wouldn't fight just to save face. But now, an insightful emptiness expert had actually made a move. Since when did the Sky-Reaching School have an insightful emptiness expert? They actually didn't know. One had to become an insightful emptiness expert to be on the Sky-Reaching list. But very quickly, Ju Qin shook his head. No, this person isn't even at the insightful emptiness level. He just used a great Tao talisman. Damn, this guy is quite rich. When the surrounding people heard about the great Tao talisman, they were a little surprised. One had to know that such a great Tao talisman wasn't cheap. A great Tao talisman was personally made by a heaven insightful emptiness expert. Just this alone was worth 50 million mid-grade spirit stones. Moreover, the higher the level of the great Tao, the more powerful it was. The higher the great Tao talisman, the higher the price. Most people wouldn't bear to use it, but someone had actually used it for the sake of these 10,000 points. The price to performance ratio was a little high. Lin Fei's body was also hit by the power of the great Tao. This power was terrifyingly strong. It was even more penetrative. At the same time, Lin Fei could feel traces of special power in the air. This special power was none other than a type of poison. It was very strong. It was very well hidden. If Lin Fei didn't have the God Tree of Life, his undying body, and his sensitive perception, he wouldn't have been able to sense that this guy had used 2 levels of techniques. Damn, this Dusk Tavern is really capable. Chapter 4474. This guy was quite strong. At the very least, Lin Fei was the first to meet him. Of course, he was also the first Dusk Assassin. At the same time, Lin Fei was very interested in this Dusk Tavern. This assassin really wasn't easy to deal with. Fortunately, Lin Fei's immortal body was unbelievably strong. He directly withstood the poison. As soon as the poison seeped in, Lin Fei's power enveloped it. The power of the raindrops on the surface was directly blocked by Lin Fei's sword intent. One after another, the sword intent spread all over his body. Lin Fei could see that the power of the Great Path was strong, but it wouldn't last long. It was just a one-time attack. Perhaps the opponent was using this method to attract his attention. The poison was the real focus. The opponent didn't care about the 500 points. He just wanted to kill him in secret. Lin Fei acted like he didn't know and blocked the power of the Great Path. The Great Path attack lasted for a very long time. The raindrops fell one by one, but Lin Fei continued to hold on. Even the surrounding people gasped when they saw the scene. They couldn't believe it. Junior brother Lin Fei is too strong. Yeah, he's so strong that it's terrifying. If it were me, I probably wouldn't have been able to hold on. In the future, junior brother Lin Fei will probably have a high chance of fighting for the position of son. At this time, North Heaven Immortal and Ju Qin were a little surprised. Although they knew from the beginning that Lin Fei was quite strong, they didn't think he would be that strong. But now he could actually withstand the power of the Great Path God Talisman. This was rare. From this, it could be seen that Lin Fei's potential was limitless. At the very least, he had a chance of becoming a son. They had no choice but to take him seriously. When the power of the Great Path stopped, the sky full of sword light gathered and instantly pierced through the body of the Dusk Tavern assassin. His opponent only appeared to be in a sorry state, but he didn't know that Lin Fei's attack wasn't that simple. Junior brother Lin Fei is really amazing. I've lost this battle, and I accept my defeat wholeheartedly. This person directly flipped over and fell off the stage. They left the underground plaza. He was no different from the previous few, but only he himself knew that Lin Fei was doomed. After being poisoned, there was no cure. Even if he wanted the antidote, it was not something he could obtain. Although he was a little surprised by Lin Fei's strength, he was still a little surprised. However, the assassin was still very satisfied. At the very least, he could kill this Lin Fei. What he needed to do now was to leave the heavens-reaching church. However, as soon as he left, the sky-reaching school was only 1,000,000 kilometers away. A wave of energy appeared at his heart and wrapped around him. Then he completely lost consciousness. He had still underestimated Lin Fei's power. Even a trace of his sword intent could explode with brilliant power. It wasn't something that his small body could resist at all. After Lin Fei withstood the power of the Great Way, no one fought with him anymore. They didn't have the confidence to do so unless the saints took action. But how could the saints take action? They were thinking too much. As a result, Lin Fei obtained 10,000 points. Of course, What made Lin Fei the happiest was that he had killed the assassin in the Dusk Tavern. He didn't have to worry about the other party watching him in the dark all the time. It was estimated that the assassin had already left the heavens-reaching church, so he could detonate the power in his body. When the power went further and further away, Lin Fei blew it decisively. After coming down from the stage, Yi Dezhuang and Su Jinding had already disappeared. They probably didn't have the face to stay here anymore. On the contrary, many people came to greet them. Most of these people were personal disciples, and they all had smiles on their faces. It seemed that they wanted to be familiar with them. After all, a personal disciple who could resist the divine talisman of the Great Way would probably spread throughout the heavens-reaching church soon. It was a good thing to get to know him earlier. Junior brother Lin Fei, your swordsmanship is really good. I wonder if you are interested in joining my immortal gang. At this time a figure came over. There were quite a few people following behind him. When everyone saw this person, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. The Northern Heaven Immortal Saint was here. When they looked at Lin Fei again, they were full of envy and jealousy. They didn't expect that senior brother, Northern Heaven Immortal, would come to recruit him. The Immortal Gang was a powerful small gang in the heavens-reaching church. And this small gang was full of top figures, because they all had a chance to reach the immortal realm in the future. This could be seen from the name of the Immortal Gang. With the support of the Immortal Gang, you would be able to live the life you really wanted in the heavens-reaching church and get more cultivation resources. The heavens-reaching church was not surprised that their disciples formed gangs. It seemed that they quite approved of it. In their opinion, only by competing with each other could they grow to a new realm in the future. Without competition, how could they cultivate stronger strength? So they didn't stop them at all. Therefore, there were many gangs in the sky-reaching church. They either had a large number of people or a small number of people. There weren't many top gangs like the Immortal Gang. There weren't many who could contend against him. Therefore, there were very few people who could be recruited by the Northern Heaven Immortal. As soon as North Heaven Immortal finished speaking, another figure appeared. It was Ju Qin. I don't think it's interesting for the Immortal Gang to fight for it. Why don't you join our heavenly gates? We can guarantee that you'll have the chance to cultivate to the level of an immortal. The appearance of this Northern Heaven Immortal was unbelievable to everyone. There weren't many people they could recruit. But now, even Ju Qin had come. It had to be known that Northern Heavenly Immortal and Ju Qin were both extremely talented. They had been in the limelight at Sky Split Tower and had become holy sons as soon as they came out. He was even recruited by the Immortal Gang and the Heavenly Gates. The resources came down. They had directly broken through to the insightful emptiness realm. Such a rapid improvement in strength showed that the gangs behind them had contributed a lot. Now that both of them had taken a liking to Lin Fei, everyone was naturally surprised. It could be said that Lin Fei had reached the heavens in one step. Lin Fei didn't expect that he would be recruited by two people with great talent just by gaining some points. The Immortal Gang and the Heavenly Security Sect seemed to have quite a strong background. He also knew that there were many gangs in the heavens-reaching church, and they were all recruiting top-notch people. The Immortal Gang and the Heavenly Gates were both top-notch. If you want resources, you have resources. If you want cultivation techniques, you have cultivation techniques. As for recruiting, Lin Fei wasn't really interested. His only interest now was to get more points, or a top-notch god tree. This was the best way to increase his strength. Senior brothers, you are so enthusiastic. I don't know how to choose. Why don't you give me some time to think about it? Chapter 4475. Both Northern Immortal and Ju Qin were not surprised by Lin Fei's rejection. If he agreed so quickly, then there must be something wrong with Lin Fei's brain. After obtaining 10,000 points, Lin Fei left the underground plaza. After leaving, Lin Fei was not in a hurry to return to his mountain peak. Instead, he went to the place where he could exchange points. After all, 10,000 points was not a small sum. Lin Fei could go and see what he could exchange points for. When he arrived at the place, there were not many people here. Senior apprentice brother, I wonder what you are planning to exchange for. There is a catalog here. You can take a look at the value. The items are all here. As soon as Lin Fei arrived, someone handed him a book. Lin Fei smiled as he took the book and casually flipped through it. It was filled with the list of things he could exchange for. There were all kinds of treasures. It could be said that the heaven-reaching church had a rather deep foundation. The first thing Lin Fei looked for was the items related to the refinement of the heavenly tree. As expected, there were quite a lot of things here. However, the points required for exchange were not low either. For example, this heavenly shield could release a defense. A wooden shield like this actually required 1,000 points. The heavenly treasure armor also required 5,000 points. Lin Fei could not help but be a little dumbfounded. It seemed like his 10,000 points were really not much. No wonder the bountiful treasures building had spent so much time collecting for him. Lin Fei felt that he had to take a look. For example, these medicinal herbs. Heaven and earth medicinal herbs were also much cheaper to exchange for. 10,000 to 50,000 years old medicinal herbs would basically only cost a few thousand points. Those that were 50,000 years old and above would require 5,000 points. Those that were 100,000 to 500,000 years old would require tens of thousands of points. Lin Fei was dumbfounded again. It seems like I was thinking too much. 10,000 points really cannot exchange for anything. Senior apprentice brother, if you think these things are more expensive, you can take a look at the last few pages. There are some cheaper things there. The senior apprentice brother smiled and said. Lin Fei flipped all the way to the end and couldn't help but be dumbfounded. These things were really cheap. They were not expensive at all, only about a few hundred points. None of them had more than 1,000 points. This was also a cheap local product. Lin Fei was speechless, but when he saw the last item, he was dumbfounded. He thought he was seeing things. The fragment of the great Tao heart. There was such a thing. Only 100 points for one? That's a little too cheap. Lin Fei hadn't noticed that the Tao heart fragment was actually the cheapest, only 100 points. Senior Marshall brother said with a smile. This fragment of the heart of the great Tao is actually condensed by an insightful emptiness realm expert's cultivation of the great Tao. However, during a fight, the fragment of the heart of the great Tao will break into pieces and scatter. These fragments will contain traces of the power of the great Tao, which can be absorbed and refined. However, the effect is too low. Of course, this is also a way to cultivate a great Tao. Lin Fei could tell that this person was telling a joke. Hey, can you take out a fragment of the heart of the great Tao and let me take a look? Originally, Lin Fei had wanted to give up. However, on second thought, this thing belonged to the great Tao. Even if it was broken, it would still contain the power of the great Tao. He wondered if the Tree of Life would be interested. That was why Lin Fei asked such a question. How would he know if he didn't try? This senior Marshall brother was really enthusiastic. He turned around and took the fragment of the heart of the great Tao. The fragment of the heart of the great Tao was like a crystal. It was really beautiful and colorful. The crystal that Lin Fei saw was black. This is a fragment of the heart of the great Tao with the power of destruction. It's a pity that the power within is almost all gone. What's left is almost an empty shell. Lin Fei took the fragment of the heart of the great Tao. There were no more ripples, but he could more or less feel the aura of destruction. Lin Fei could imagine that such a great Tao of destruction was really extraordinary. No wonder it was said that the power of the great Tao was higher than that of an original soul realm expert. This was obviously a higher level of power. After Lin Fei held it in his hand, the Tree of Life moved. This kind of movement was really sensitive. Lin Fei smiled. He knew that he had guessed right again. The heart of the great Tao was also a part of the heaven and earth. Although it had become a fragment of the heart of the great Tao, it was still a part of the heaven and earth. The Tree of Life's movement was not small. Lin Fei knew that he had done the right thing. Then give me 100 fragments of the heart of the great Tao. Lin Fei had 10,000 points on him. He might as well exchange them all for the fragments of the heart of the great Tao. The senior martial brother was stunned. He was obviously a little surprised. Junior brother, are you right? You want 100 fragments of the heart of the great Tao. You should know that these things are basically useless. Lin Fei smiled. I found a few ancient books that have research on the fragments of the heart of the great Tao. I don't really like other things, but I like to study the fragments of the heart of the great Tao. Just exchange 100 fragments of the heart of the great Tao for me. After hearing Lin Fei say this, the senior martial brother didn't say anything else. He really gave Lin Fei 100 fragments of the heart of the great Tao. 10,000 points were used just like that. Lin Fei didn't feel the slightest bit of heartache. After collecting the fragments of the heart of the great Tao, he returned to the mountain where he was. As soon as he returned, Su Tianqing came out. Junior brother, you're still the best. You made Su Jinding suffer a big loss again. That guy's heart is probably bleeding. Su Tianqing also heard the news. In a short time, it had already spread like wildfire in the sky-reaching school, especially when Ju Qin and Northern Immortal tried to recruit him together. One was the Immortal Gang, and the other was the Heavenly Gate. Both of them were top-notch small gangs. Lin Fei smiled and said he asked for it. However, I still have to thank him for his contribution. Otherwise, I wouldn't have gotten 10,000 points. These days, Su Tianqing was really worried that Lin Fei wouldn't come back. After all, it was the Demon Desert. Moreover, it was Su Jinding's plan. Now that he saw Su Jinding suffer a loss, he was naturally very happy. After chatting with Su Tianqing for a while, Lin Fei returned to his residence. After setting up the method, he directly let the divine Tree of Life devour the heart of the great Tao. Lin Fei didn't check the fragments of the heart of the great Tao because the fluctuations of the fragments of the heart of the great Tao were not big. It was obvious that it was useless. If not for the Tree of Life, Lin Fei would not have brought it back. There was simply no need for it. Chapter 4476. After the Tree of Life absorbed the fragments of the heart of Tao, under Lin Fei's watchful eyes, he grew rapidly. This surprised Lin Fei a little. To think that this empty shell of the heart of Tao would be so effective. In the blink of an eye, the Tree of Life grew a lot taller. Of course, this wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that there was a heart of Tao at the top of the Tree of Life. However, it wasn't considered complete and seemed very illusory. It wasn't even a physical body, but it was enough to make Lin Fei take in a breath of cold air. No way. The divine Tree of Life can do this? Doesn't that mean that if I can get more of the heart of great Tao fragments, I will be able to get a complete heart of great Tao? Then I will be able to become an insightful emptiness realm expert. Lin Fei couldn't help but be shocked when he saw this. He knew that countless people were stuck between the nascent soul realm and insightful emptiness realm. It was because the Tao was too difficult to form. But he didn't expect the Tree of Life to be so useful and forcefully form a heart of Tao. Even though he didn't know what attribute this heart of Tao had, he knew that as long as he collected more fragments of the heart of Tao, he would be able to easily form a heart of Tao. A heart of Tao like this could definitely be sold for a high price. With this, Lin Fei's heart was moved. This time, he had really stumbled upon a huge bargain. One must know that this heart of Tao was truly a good item. If this were to spread in the spiritual realm, who knew how many people would go crazy? After Lin Fei suppressed his thoughts, he called Su Tianqing in immediately. After all, this little heavenly king knew quite a bit of information. Su Tianqing came over eagerly. Do you know anything about this heart of Tao fragment? Lin Fei asked with a smile. I've been researching this Heart of Tao fragment recently and read some ancient books. I have some ideas. Lin Fei didn't want people to suspect that he could use this Heart of Tao fragment. If he was really suspected, it would be troublesome. Therefore, he had to be careful about this matter. Therefore, Lin Fei came up with an excuse. For example, researching the Tao Heart fragment. It sounded rather absurd, but given how vast the spiritual realm was, there were still people who would more or less study it. So when Su Tianqing heard Lin Fei's words, other than feeling a little surprised, he didn't have any other thoughts. After all, there were many people who studied the fragment of the Heart of the Great Path. Everyone hoped to take a shortcut and become an insightful emptiness realm expert in one step. Without cultivating the Great Tao, it was impossible to become an insightful emptiness realm expert. This was an iron rule. Unfortunately, after researching for so long, no one was able to study the fragment of the Heart of the Great Tao in the end. This fragment of the Heart of Great Tao was actually left behind by the insightful emptiness realm experts after they died in a fight. Of course, this also depends on the opportunity. If you want to get the fragment of the Heart of Great Tao, it is actually very easy. You can exchange for it. However, the exchange is a little tricky. You can go to those forbidden areas to look for it. Su Tianqing had a rather deep understanding of the Heart of the Tao fragment. Therefore, after he mentioned it, Lin Fei had a deep impression of the Tao Heart fragment. So it was that simple. As long as he went to the forbidden areas, he would be able to find these fragments of the Heart of Great Tao. If junior brother Lin Fei wants to find these fragments of the Heart of Great Tao, you can go to a few of the bigger forbidden areas. There are many insightful emptiness realm experts who died in these forbidden areas. Lin Fei really had the idea of going to the forbidden areas to find the fragments of the Heart of Great Tao. Although the God Tree of Life already had the model of the Heart of Great Tao, it was still some time before it was fully formed. Of course, the prerequisite was that he needed enough fragments of the Heart of Great Tao. Therefore, Lin Fei wanted to collect a batch and see how many fragments of the Heart of Great Tao were needed to obtain the Heart of Great Tao. Other than this, there is actually another way. That is to go to the auction and exchange for items. As long as junior brother Lin can take out enough items, it is actually not difficult to obtain the fragments of the Heart of Great Tao. Many people bring them with them. Su Tianqing gave Lin Fei 2 suggestions in a short while. Initially, Lin Fei felt that going to the forbidden areas was not a bad idea. However, he thought that it would still take time to go to the forbidden areas. It was especially troublesome at this time. However, if he went to the auction and exchanged items, it would be much easier. Lin Fei still had some good things with him. For example, this life energy. This kind of thing could heal injuries. For experts, it was of great use. Given Lin Fei's current strength, even if an insightful emptiness realm expert attacked him, he would not be able to break his physical body. Therefore, he could really operate it. After Lin Fei understood a little more, he sent Su Tianqing away. After nightfall, Lin Fei left the heavenly reaching church and went to a chamber of commerce. Lin Fei did not want too many people to know that he had left the heavenly reaching church. This time, he went to a relatively famous place. It was called the Dark Chamber of Commerce. Of course, more people liked to call it the Underground Chamber of Commerce. It was also a relatively famous chamber of commerce in the spiritual world. It was also relatively close. In such a chamber of commerce, people would exchange items. As for the items, no one knew where they came from. Anyway, the Underground Chamber of Commerce was quite capable. Therefore, Lin Fei decided to go there to try his luck. On the way, Lin Fei shook his body and changed his figure. Even his aura became very strange. Even if Su Tianqing stood in front of him, he would not be able to imagine it. It took Lin Fei 2 days to finally arrive at the Dark Chamber of Commerce. This place was a clue that he had painstakingly obtained. It was located in a forest and was very inconspicuous. Lin Fei took out a pass. After activating it, he saw a door slowly open. Lin Fei followed him in. There was a completely different world inside the door. It turned out to be a miniature world. This ability was a little big. Lin Fei was not a rookie now, so he had a clear understanding of these miniature worlds. He also knew that a place that could afford such a place must have a great background. When he entered the Dark Chamber of Commerce, it was no different from a small town. It looked ordinary. However, Lin Fei could feel a terrifying aura. Lin Fei maintained his strength at the Gold Core realm, which was not conspicuous. Then he found a nearby inn to stay. The inn here was not cheap. It cost 1 million lower spiritual stones for 1 day. 3 days would cost 3 million lower spiritual stones. Lin Fei stayed and inquired about the news. The auction would be held in 8 days, so he had to stay here for at least 10 days. Time passed by in a flash. He checked out of the inn. He went to the underground auction. The underground Chamber of Commerce was really located underground. Chapter 4477. The moment Lin Fei entered, he realized that there was something different about this place. This was a very simple auction. There were no private rooms or anything like that. Instead, everyone was in the same place. There were many stools in front of them, and cultivators were chatting in groups of 3 to 5. Most of them wore masks, and very few of them revealed their faces. The masks were not simple either. All of them had the energy waves of treasures. Lin Fei knew that this place was a shady business. However, this place was rather famous. Fortunately, I've changed my aura and my appearance. It's more useful than wearing a mask. At the very least, they'll only suspect me and not someone else. After looking around, Lin Fei headed towards a certain place. This place was for the appraisal of treasures. Lin Fei was prepared to use the sacred water of life to exchange for the Tao core fragment. The appraiser here was an old man. He was not young. "Sir, what do you want to appraise?" Lin Fei casually took out the sacred water of life. The old man seemed to have noticed that this was Lin Fei's first time here. He said calmly, "Don't worry. This place is isolated by an array. No one will be able to sneak in and no one will know." Actually, there was no need to say that. Lin Fei had sensed it long ago. Otherwise, he wouldn't have taken out the sacred water of life. "I want to use this to exchange for some Tao core fragments. Other items are fine too. Naturally, I will need medicinal herbs that are at least 100,000 years old," Lin Fei said. When the old man saw the few drops of sacred water of life, his eyes lit up. What a pure energy! It doesn't have any attributes. Lin Fei said, "This is a special type of energy. I don't know where it came from, but 1 drop of this energy can heal any injuries on the body. In other words, it can heal any injuries in an instant." After hearing what Lin Fei said, the old man became even more excited. He took out a series of items and began to verify them. After busying himself for a while, he finally approved of it. "According to my appraisal, this item can indeed heal injuries quickly. Are you sure you want to exchange it for the Tao core fragment and medicinal herbs that are at least 100,000 years old?" Lin Fei nodded. "Yes, I want these things. I don't want anything else." The old man stood up and returned the drops of God water of life to Lin Fei. "I wonder if Sire is interested in negotiating with our Chamber of Commerce? Our Chamber of Commerce is willing to purchase the God water of life as long as we can give you something satisfactory." Lin Fei hesitated for a moment. In fact, deep down in his heart, he was hoping that the auction house would take this item away, because it was simple and straightforward. He would never expose himself. After seeing Lin Fei frown, the old man continued, "Our merchant guild might not be good at other things, but we have a lot of resources. Tao core fragments, medicinal herbs that are over 100,000 years old. I don't dare to speak too much about other people, but our merchant guild can still produce them. We are no less than other people." Lin Fei gritted his teeth and said, "It doesn't matter if I sell it to your auction house, but the price must satisfy me. Otherwise, I'd rather take it out and exchange it for something else." The old man finally heaved a sigh of relief. "Sir, please follow me. Let's talk upstairs." Lin Fei followed the old man upstairs. There was a private room upstairs. After the old man brought Lin Fei in, he said, "Sir, please rest here for a while. I'll immediately invite our president over to talk with you." Lin Fei sat down casually. After the old man left, he immediately went to look for the president. Lin Fei didn't sit for long before the door to the private room was pushed open. Someone had entered. When the person entered, Lin Fei was slightly surprised. This was because the person who entered was actually a valiant and formidable-looking woman. She was dressed in a bright red robe, making her look extremely charming. "Hello, sir. I am the president of this merchant guild, Humeli." After the red-robed woman walked over, she sat down opposite of Lin Fei. The old man also stood beside her. "What price can you offer for my item? As long as you meet my requirements, I'll naturally sell it to you." Lin Fei didn't look at Humeli as he spoke coldly. After all, the reason why Lin Fei came here to sell the God Water of Life was also for the sake of the Tao core fragment. Therefore, he didn't want too many people to know about it. It would be best if things could be resolved quickly. There was nothing to worry about. Humeli didn't expect this person to actually dare to show his face and come to the merchant guild to sell something. She actually couldn't recall this person's origins. He was simply too ordinary and unfamiliar. However, according to the appraiser, this God Water was really too precious. "I wonder if this sir can take out this God Water for me to take a look. I guarantee that the price is not a problem. After all, our merchant guild can still afford it." Lin Fei took out the God Water of Life and placed it on the tea table. Humeli didn't pick it up. Instead, she used her spiritual sense to check it. The more she looked, the more shocked she became. However, she still maintained a charming smile on her face without any change in expression. Humeli knew that this God Water was really a good thing. She didn't expect the spiritual realm to have such a thing. Of course, there were many mystical things in the spiritual realm that weren't easy to discover. "You have 5 drops of God Water here. I can give you 5,000 Tao core fragments and 5 100,000-year-old herbs. How about it?" Humeli was also testing the waters. After all, the price of these 5 drops of God Water was definitely very high. Especially if they were to exchange it outside, there would be people fighting over it. Lin Fei was no longer a newbie. He chuckled. "You also know that the fragment of the Tao heart isn't worth much unless it's complete. However, it's just a fragment and 5 100,000-year-old herbs. It's too little." Lin Fei shook his head and said, "I'll give you one more chance. If you can't meet my requirements, then I'll take it out and exchange it for something else." Lin Fei was also a decisive person. How could he not see that Humeli was testing him to see if he had obtained this God Water by chance? It would be impossible for people not to suspect him. Some merchant guilds might even secretly investigate his origins. Now that Lin Fei had such a background, no one would be able to guess it. Humeli also realized that this person was somewhat difficult to deal with. He was actually so decisive without any hesitation. It seemed that he had some understanding of this God Water of Life. Tao core fragments aren't easy to obtain. I only have 5,000 Tao core fragments at most. However, I can give you more herbs. How about 500,000-year-old herbs? No, I'll give you 3 500,000-year-old herbs. That's the limit of our merchant guild. Lin Fei naturally knew that these Tao core fragments weren't very useful. It wouldn't be easy to gather more. 5,000 was not a small number. Of course, the main point was the 3 500,000-year-old herbs. This was indeed a sincere expression. Chapter 4478. This was the highest price that Humeli had ever offered. Subconsciously, she had to get her hands on this special energy, no matter what. Because this thing was really too rare, Humeli had never seen it before. If he could get his hands on it, it would be no less than a divine elixir. Therefore, he offered a high price. Even if this person seemed unfamiliar, it would be great if he could buy the 5 drops of special energy. Your price is not bad. I am quite satisfied. I will sell these 5 drops of special energy to your Chamber of Commerce, Lin Fei said coolly. Humeli heaved a sigh of relief when she heard this. She was afraid that the other party would think that the price wasn't high enough. Fortunately, they finally got it. Thank you for selling these 5 drops of special energy to us, sir. Please wait a moment. I'll go get the fragment of the Tao heart and the 3 500,000-year-old herbs for you right now. Humeli turned around and went out, feeling relieved in her heart. After Humeli left, Lin Fei was calculating in his heart. Looks like the wealth of this dark spirit merchant group is pretty good, since they are able to take out 5,000 great Tao core fragments in one go. I wonder if these 5,000 great Tao core fragments are enough to create a great Tao core. If they can create one, then this transaction will be huge. Others might not know the origin of this life energy, but Lin Fei knew very well that it was not condensed from the divine tree of life. This thing could be considered cheap, but it could also be considered expensive. Of course, in Lin Fei's eyes, it was a very cheap product. This trip would be a great harvest. After some time, Humeli had returned. She was still wearing a big red robe, but the smile on her face was even more enthusiastic. Sir, here are 5,000 fragments of the great Tao core and 3 500,000-year-old medicinal herbs. They're definitely the real deal. Please take a look. Humeli took the ring. He placed it in front of Lin Fei. Lin Fei really checked it. After all, he had no choice but to check it. He was also afraid that Humeli had arranged something. After a round of inspection, he heaved a sigh of relief when he found that there was nothing wrong with him. There really were 5,000 fragments of the Tao heart and 3 500,000-year-old herbs inside. Lin Fei put away the storage ring. You are very sincere. This is an invincible, special divine water. Lin Fei gave them the divine water of life and stood up. Humeli inspected it, and after confirming that it was genuine, she felt at ease. She was also afraid that the other party would do something to it. After all, who knew when she would be able to obtain such divine water again? Sir, if you have more of these things in the future, feel free to come to our Dark Chamber of Commerce. We will definitely be able to give you a satisfactory price. Lin Fei paused at the door and replied, If it's a complete Tao heart, what's your price? Lin Fei was very clearly aware that after he brought these 5,000 heart of the Grand Tao fragments back, he would definitely be able to condense a complete heart of the Grand Tao, and it might even be able to condense more than one. Therefore, he had to investigate the situation first. He could also see that Humeli was an ambitious woman. For ambitious women, the heart of the great Tao was very useful to anyone. For ambitious women, it was even more important. Lin Fei did not believe that this woman would not care about the heart of the great Tao. As expected, after Humeli heard that the heart of the great Tao was complete, a trace of light flashed between her brows. She could hide it from others, but she could not hide it from Lin Fei. If it's a complete heart of the great Tao, our Dark Chamber of Commerce will definitely be able to give you a satisfactory price. Whether you want spirit stones or something else, we can get it for you. Even high-grade spirit stones are not a problem. Humeli took a deep breath. If it was someone else who said this, Humeli would definitely not believe it. However, Humeli believed the words of this person in front of her. This was a woman's intuition. Humeli had always been very trusting of her intuition. What she believed was true. This person might really be able to obtain the heart of the great Tao. This is my communication talisman. If you can really obtain the complete heart of the great Tao, you can contact me at any time. We can discuss the price at any time. Humeli took out another communication talisman. This was a single communication talisman, and it could only be used one-to-one. Lin Fei casually put it away, turned around and left. After Lin Fei left, the old man beside Humeli said, "President, should we arrange for someone to keep an eye on him? I think this person is a little interesting." Humeli shook her head and said, "Forget it. It's not worth it to follow this kind of person. I am still preparing for a second cooperation." The old man beside her said, "A second cooperation? How is that possible? I don't think he will come to our dark chamber of commerce again. This kind of person is very cunning. He will definitely change places." However, Humeli laughed very happily and said, "Then you are wrong. This person will definitely come for a second time. This is my woman's intuition. Hence, there is no need for us to follow him. If he can really obtain the heart of the great Tao for us, and a complete one at that, where else can we find such a good thing? You must know that a heart of the great Tao can create an insightful emptiness realm expert." After Lin Fei left, he originally thought that Humeli would arrange for someone to follow him. He did not expect that no one would follow him. He was somewhat surprised. It seems that this Humeli is a smart woman. Sometimes smart women are indeed a good partner. Lin Fei smiled. Along the way, he changed his identity countless times and changed his aura countless times. Only then did he change back to his original appearance. Finally, he returned to the sky-reaching church. Nothing unexpected happened during the whole process. Lin Fei easily exchanged 5 drops of divine water of life for 5,000 heart of the great Tao fragments and 3 500,000-year-old medicinal herbs. As soon as he returned to his room, Lin Fei first absorbed and refined the 3 500,000-year-old medicinal herbs. As expected, it was effective. The divine tree of life had also grown a lot taller. Of course, the most important thing was the 5,000 heart of the great Tao fragments. It was not easy to find such fragments. In the blink of an eye, he had obtained 5,000 heart of the great Tao fragments. This was quite a good deal. He had refined all the fragments in one go for the divine tree of life. The refinement took 3 days. After 3 days, Lin Fei finally smiled. On the divine tree of life, he had obtained 5 complete heart of the great Tao. They were exuding traces of Tao will. However, these Tao wills were of the lowest level. Lin Fei could still feel that they were not very strong. A complete heart of the great Tao was good. That would make 5 cavern experts. Lin Fei smiled. In the next second, the life statement actually sent him a message. Lin Fei's expression was one of astonishment. He was a little surprised. It turned out that the heart of the great Tao could be fused. If he kept fusing them, he could fuse them into a higher level heart of the great Tao. Chapter 4479. Lin Fei didn't think that the God Tree of Life would have such an effect. Being able to fuse the Tao heart was out of Lin Fei's expectations. He thought that 5,000 Tao heart fragments wouldn't be able to form many Tao hearts. He didn't expect to form 5 Tao hearts. Although the power of the Tao was very weak, it was still the power of the Tao. It was very safe to deal with nascent soul experts. Otherwise, why would they be called emptiness realm experts? Lin Fei could see the quality of the 5 Tao hearts. With a thought, these 5 Tao hearts fell into Lin Fei's hands. Indeed, each of them had the power of the Tao. Lin Fei didn't choose to refine them. After all, the power of the Tao was too weak. Even if Lin Fei wanted to refine them, he would need the best Tao heart. Of course, Lin Fei's Tao heart was dispensable. As long as his physical body came up, he could use all kinds of abilities. There was nothing to be afraid of. Lin Fei gave it a try and fused 4 of the great Tao hearts. Once the 4 Tao hearts fused, Lin Fei instantly felt that the power increased a lot. No matter who it was, they would become much stronger in the future. Lin Fei also smiled. Such a great Tao heart. If he brought it to the Chamber of Commerce, everyone would probably fight for it. Lin Fei put away the 2 Tao hearts. He didn't plan to go to the Chamber of Commerce again. Otherwise, it would be easy for people to associate it. Lin Fei's eyes were on the heavenly demon tree again. After all, the heavenly demon tree seemed to have a much better effect than the Tao heart. But after thinking about it, Lin Fei felt that it was better to wait. Anyway, he had been relying on the Tao heart to recover a lot. He might as well wait for the second mission. Su Jinding seemed to have suffered a loss and didn't come looking for trouble with Lin Fei again. In the end, Lin Fei rejected both the Immortal Gang and the Heavenly Gates. This surprised the people who came forward. After all, this was the first time someone had rejected the Immortal Gang and the Elysium's recruitment. Not everyone could do such a thing. If he hadn't said it himself, they would have suspected that they had heard wrongly. There really was someone who dared to reject the recruitment. So he left in a huff. Before long, the news spread in the heaven-reaching church. When they heard the news, they were dumbfounded. That personal disciple Lin Fei actually missed such a good opportunity. If it were them, they would join even if they were beaten to death. Whether it was the Immortal Gang or the Elysium, joining either of them was enough to make them excited for an entire day. But now he was rejected. It could only be said that this Lin Fei was really interesting. After Lin Fei refused, no one from the Immortal Gang and Elysium came. Even the other small gangs didn't come. Anyone could imagine that if they dared to reject the Immortal Gang and the Elysium, they would be oppressed in the future. A month passed in the blink of an eye, and in this month's time, Lin Fei did not come out at all. He had been in the palace the whole time. Lin Fei came to the place to accept the task again. This was the second time he had accepted an experienced task, so he was quite looking forward to it. When he received this experienced task, Lin Fei frowned slightly. Then he returned to normal. He turned around and walked out of the place to accept the task. He returned to his palace. "Junior brother, you've gone too far. Someone must have done something. Otherwise, you wouldn't have accepted such a difficult task." As a little heavenly king, when Su Tianqing saw this task, his face changed. The task that Lin Fei had accepted this time was not a small task. It was a big task. This task required Lin Fei to break through to the insightful void realm within 3 years. Such an experienced task really made Lin Fei a little depressed. It was no wonder that Su Tianqing would speak with a displeased expression. This was simply too difficult. It was not easy to break through the nascent soul realm and reach the insightful void realm within 3 years. Su Tianqing was indeed a little angry. This was clearly bullying. Lin Fei did not know who had done something to this experienced task. Without a doubt, it was the Immortal Gang or the Elysium. Su Jinding was also possible. After all, Yi Dazhuang was his senior brother. It was hard to guarantee that he wouldn't do anything. Lin Fei chuckled. It's actually not too difficult to reach the insightful void realm within 3 years. Didn't you see the reward of 10,000 points? They really put in a lot of effort. That's right. This experienced task was worth 10,000 points. Why did everyone like to become a personal disciple? It was because these 3 tasks could give a lot of points. The first task was a few hundred to 1,000 points. The second task was a few thousand to 10,000 points. The last task was the most difficult. Of course, under normal circumstances, there were very few tasks that were this difficult. To use 3 years to break through to the insightful void realm was a good time for Lin Fei. He could use this time to study the heart of the Great Path. How could Lin Fei not see it? It was obvious that someone wanted him to lose his identity as a personal disciple of the Sky Reaching School. After all, he would be expelled from the Sky Reaching School if he failed 3 times. Therefore, it was not easy to become a disciple of the Sky Reaching School. After receiving the second task, Lin Fei did not hesitate. After such a long time, he quietly left the Sky Reaching Church. When Lin Fei left, someone noticed Lin Fei's departure. It was Northern Heaven Immortal of the Immortal Gang. Lin Fei doesn't even know who he offended. If it were me, I would definitely find a way to smooth things over. I didn't expect him to leave just like that. He thought he could reach the insightful void realm within 3 years. He thought too much. Northern Heaven Immortal shook his head and left. As the holy son of the Sky Reaching School, he knew better than anyone else what was going on. Someone was targeting Lin Fei. Lin Fei's performance was a bit outstanding, which naturally made people unhappy. After all, such a person had the chance to become a holy son in the future. Once he became a holy son, he would have a lot of competition. Therefore, it was not easy to become a holy son. The competition was fierce. After Lin Fei left the Sky Reaching School, he kept changing his appearance. In the end, he became an ordinary person. No one could recognize him. Lin Fei came to the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce again. After arriving at the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce, Lin Fei used the communication device. Humeili came to the inn immediately. She was very low-key. If it was not for the red robe, Lin Fei would not have recognized her. "I didn't expect President Hu to be so low-key," said Lin Fei with a smile as soon as Humeili came in. "Since you are also a low-key person, I must also be low-key. Otherwise, how can we cooperate?" Humeili sat down. Chapter 4480. P.S. Thank you, Yunsel, for the tip. Humeili didn't expect it. How long had it been? This mysterious person had actually come again. During these days, Humeili did want to arrange for someone to investigate, but in the end, she suppressed this idea. If she really wanted to inquire about it, she had the confidence to do so. At this time, Humeili was glad that she had made the right choice. Her woman's intuition was right. This mysterious man came to find her again. Her subconscious told her that the discussion this time might be about the heart of Tao. Humeili herself was quite surprised as to why she would have such a thought. She understood that a woman's intuition had always been very sensitive. Therefore, when Humeili came, she couldn't help but be excited. If he really had the heart of Tao, it would be equivalent to cultivating an insightful emptiness realm expert. Even the weakest insightful emptiness realm expert was still an insightful emptiness realm expert. It wasn't easy to find one. This is the second time we've met. Can I know how I address you? I can't call you sir every time. If you feel embarrassed, I'll feel embarrassed too. After all, we're business partners, don't you think so? Humeili took the initiative to make a pot of tea for Lin Fei. She poured a cup full of tea. Lin Fei knew what Humeili was thinking. He smiled and said, "I don't mind telling you my name. I'm Lin Fei." In the entire spirit realm, there were at least 4,000 or 5,000 of such common names. Therefore, Lin Fei wasn't worried at all. Even if Humeili knew, it wouldn't be a big deal. Lin Fei's current appearance was different. It couldn't be found or verified. Humeili had never heard of a powerful person named Lin Fei. She didn't know if this person was using a real name or a fake one. However, her subconscious instincts told her that the name given by this person might be the real one. This person was called Tian Fei. "Taoist Lin, do you need any help this time? If you need anything, please let me know. The Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce is quite capable." Humeili didn't mention anything about the heart of Tao. Humeili really wanted to bring it up in her heart, but she chose to endure it. Lin Fei smiled and said, "President Hu, since you know that I've come to find you, you must have a purpose. As for the abilities of your Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce, I've experienced it for myself. However, this time I plan to sell you something. I believe that you will be very interested in it." Humeili's heart skipped a beat. At this moment, Lin Fei knew. This woman was really smart. Humeili jumped for a moment before recovering. She knew that the other party must have found out. As the president of the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce, Humeili was very serious about her duties as the president. Basically, he would not reveal any trace of his emotions. However, he didn't expect his state of mind to fluctuate in front of this person. More importantly, this was only the second time he had met Lin Fei. They had only met twice. Humeili hurriedly put away her thoughts. "Whatever fellow Taoist Lin is willing to take out, our dark nether merchant group will pay the absolute price to satisfy you." With a wave of his hand, Lin Fei took out the heart of Tao. This heart of Tao was stored in a special box and sealed. Therefore, it perfectly isolated the aura of the Tao. When the heart of Tao was placed in front of her, Humeli really couldn't suppress her emotions. She stole a glance at Lin Fei before shifting her gaze to the heart of Tao. Finally, she took a deep breath. Humeli knew that she was still a little inexperienced. She had seen the heart of Tao in the dark spirit chamber of commerce. However, she had never thought that the heart of Tao would be so close to her. Lin Fei observed silently. He felt that this Humeli was interesting. At first, Lin Fei felt that Humeli was a strong woman. However, as he observed more, he realized that this strong woman's mentality was a little weak. Facing the heart of Tao, it was so easy for her to show emotions. This was something that had never happened before. It was clear that this Humeli still cared a lot about the heart of Tao. This is the item that I want to sell. It's the real deal. I don't cheat anyone. I wonder if this item of mine is to your satisfaction, great beauty? This time around, Humeli was truly satisfied. Even though the other party called her a great beauty, Humeli didn't show any displeasure. Normally, as long as someone called her a great beauty, Humeli would definitely strike back coldly on the spot. She wouldn't show any courtesy to the other party. However, when facing Lin Fei, Humeli really didn't have such thoughts. She only felt that Lin Fei had come at the right time. It was like a timely rain. Her impression of him instantly soared. It was as though they were old friends who hadn't seen each other for many years. Although this heart of Tao of yours is only a level 9 heart of Tao, it's still a genuine heart of Tao. I really like this heart of Tao. May I know what you are looking for? Lin Fei wasn't very clear about the grades of the heart of Tao. When he heard this, he became a little interested. So, the heart of Tao has grades too. Interesting. Why don't you tell me about it? Humeli's gaze changed slightly, looking a little strange. After all, the grades of the heart of Tao weren't considered some secret. Could it be that this Lin Fei was trying to test her? No, he was testing her. Humeli let her imagination run wild. The heart of Tao that Lin Fei took out was the only one that hadn't been fused. To think that this was a level 9 heart of Tao. Since there was a level 9 heart of Tao, if it were to go up, it would probably be a level 8 heart of Tao, a level 7 heart of Tao, and a level 1 heart of Tao. A series of questions popped up in Lin Fei's mind. As for Humeli, she smiled and explained. There are naturally grades for the heart of Tao. The lowest grade is a level 9 heart of Tao, and the highest is a level 1 heart of Tao. Of course, above the level 1 heart of Tao, there are some fused hearts of Tao. The legendary King Heart, Emperor Heart, and even God Heart of Tao. I heard that any heart of Tao above the level 1 heart of Tao can only be obtained after countless fuses. There are no heart of Tao that is a top-notch existence right from the start. Of course, there are, but there are too few of them. Practically every single one that appears will become a target for competition. Lin Fei listened on without batting an eyelid. He could be considered to have gained some understanding of the heart of Tao. There were actually King Heart of Tao, Emperor Heart of Tao, and God Heart of Tao. All of these had to be fused in order to be produced. He couldn't help but laugh in his heart. Looks like this heart of Tao is still quite popular. Chapter 4481. After Humeli finished speaking, she also felt a little uneasy in her heart. She did not know what this Lin Fei was thinking, but if the other party had any dissatisfaction, whether or not she could successfully obtain this heart of great Tao would have a trace of uncertainty. From the bottom of her heart, Humeli did not wish for this kind of thing to happen. No matter what, she had to try her best to buy this heart of great Tao. Even if she had to pay a great price, it would be fine. Lin Fei picked up the teacup and smiled and took a sip. Then, what price do you think you can offer me? If you satisfy me, then it's naturally easy to negotiate. If you're not satisfied, then this heart of great Tao is not fated with you. Although it's only a tier 9 heart of great Tao, it can also let an expert reach the void transformation realm. Lin Fei's words were somewhat mischievous. At least, it was still something that Humeli felt rather conflicted about. Humeli also did not know what kind of price she could offer. After hearing Lin Fei's words, her heart also somewhat sunk. If it was any other matter, then it would still be fine. But it just so happened that this matter was really hard to say. But no matter what, the heart of Great Tao was placed in front of her. Then, Humeli absolutely had to buy this heart of Great Tao into her hands first. She absolutely could not miss it again. For Humeli to be able to become the president of the Dark Nether Merchant Group, her ability naturally did not need to be doubted. After pondering for a while, she finally understood what this Lin Fei wanted. Perhaps it might even be a fragment of the heart of Great Tao and some aged heaven and earth medicinal herbs. Humeli remembered the incident last time very clearly. It could be said to be vivid in her mind. Hence, after pondering for a while, she also had a rough idea in her heart. This Lin Fei definitely wanted these things. It was really hard for Humeli to gather the other things. Although this thing was a little troublesome for their Dark Nether Merchant Group, it was still achievable. It was just that this price had to be raised. Humeli even realized that this should be a test question that the other party gave her. If she could answer this question well, perhaps there might even be more hearts of Great Tao in the future. Thinking of this, Humeli's mood became somewhat excited. She did not expect that she could actually encounter such a great thing. This Lin Fei is really a good person. Humeli didn't try to guess why he had the heart of the Great Tao. To her, it was enough as long as she had the heart of the Great Tao. Everything else could be put aside. Lin Fei drank the tea in the cup unhurriedly. He knew that Humeli would definitely know. In fact, this was also a test that Lin Fei gave Humeli. If he did a good job with this case file, he would naturally have the heart of the Great Tao in the future. Lin Fei also hoped to cooperate with this beautiful Humeli. In any case, the heart of Tao was going to be sold, so selling it to Humeli was no different from selling it to someone else. More importantly, Lin Fei could see that Humeli was quite ambitious. As for why she had such great ambitions, Lin Fei didn't know. This had nothing to do with him. He only wanted the Great Tao core and the natural medicinal ingredients. It would be best if he could get some divine trees as well. It all depended on how Humeli gave this answer. Lin Fei laughed. You don't have to be in a hurry. Take your time to consider. I can give you 3 days to think about it. Humeli's heart sank again. She knew that this was really a test. Taoist Lin, 3 days is too long. As the president of the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce, I don't need to think for that long. I can give you an answer now. Humeli took a deep breath. She knew that if she was given 3 days to think about it, something might go wrong during this time. The final result would be that the heart of the Great Tao would leave him. This was something that Humeli didn't want to see. It didn't matter at other times, but this was definitely not the time. Our Chamber of Commerce can take out 50,000 heart of the Great Tao fragments. This is our limit. Apart from that, we can also give you 10 500,000-year-old natural medicinal ingredients. Of course, the most important thing is that we have a divine tree. Although it isn't very famous, it is still in the top 100 divine trees. This is the price that I can offer to Taoist Lin. Lin Fei knew that this Humeli wouldn't let him down. This answer scroll was not bad. He knew that it wasn't easy to obtain heart of the Great Tao fragments. Not every Chamber of Commerce had that many in stock. It wasn't hard to imagine that the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce had probably collected 50,000 heart of the Great Tao fragments for a long time. The natural medicinal ingredients were a little easier. Of course, what interested Lin Fei the most was this divine tree. It was actually in the top 100 divine trees. It seemed that this Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce knew a lot of things. They even knew about this divine tree. This was a lot better than other things. Humeli's heart was also a little uneasy. It was as if she was waiting for the verdict. This was the best thing that she could take out. Her palms started to sweat slowly. She had never been so nervous before. Although the person in front of her didn't look strong, he made Humeli feel a little moved. This was a very difficult person to deal with. Congratulations. This is your second cooperation. There shouldn't be any problems. Lin Fei smiled and extended his hand. Humeli was momentarily dazed. Her eyes lit up and she also extended her hand to shake Lin Fei's. Just at this moment, there was a clang. The door was pushed open and a young man walked in. This was an imposing young man. His entire body was overbearing and invincible. Just one look at him would make one want to kneel down. What a good president to actually have a private meeting with someone here. I have learned a lot. The moment this person came over, a cold light shot towards Lin Fei. This cold light wasn't simple. It was obvious that it was a killing move. It looked like he was treating him like an ant that could be killed at will. Lin Fei raised his hand and grabbed the cold light with his 5 fingers. He gently squeezed, and with a crack it broke into pieces. Scram! This isn't a place for you to talk. He turned his hand and hit the cold light fragment back. A ring lit up around the young man's body. A path actually appeared and he directly blocked it. This made him a little surprised. I never thought that there would be an expert here. Interesting, really interesting. You even dare to meet my woman in private. You're dead. Humeli, who was at the side, was also anxious. Her face turned cold. Xiong, what nonsense are you spouting? Who's your woman? This is my dark spirit chamber of commerce's customer. Do you understand? Seeing that the transaction was about to succeed, she didn't expect to meet Xiong. This made Humeli very worried. She also disliked Xiong even more. Xiong laughed out loud. Your customer, I think he's someone you're meeting in private. Chapter 4482. Get out, get out. You're not welcome here. Humeli pointed at the door and said coldly. Xiong laughed. Get out? Why should I? Since he's a guest, I'm a guest too. What do you think? Unless your dark spirit merchant group wishes to continue operating in this area. Otherwise, you should be clear about the consequences. Humeli was so angry that she was trembling. She knew Xiong background. He wasn't someone the Dark Spirit Trade Association could afford to offend. Lin Fei was here to cooperate with the Dark Spirit Trade Association. After all, the Dark Spirit Trade Association wasn't a big trade association, but it had a strong background. It had some foundation and could keep a low profile. He didn't expect something like this to happen at this time. The guy called Xiong was actually quite capable. He had cultivated a great Tao at such a young age. No wonder Humeli was so afraid. Lin Fei could feel the murderous intent in his eyes. This kid wanted to kill him. The murderous intent was very obvious. I advise you to listen to this great beauty and obediently scram from here. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite, said Lin Fei with a faint smile. Because I hate it when people disturb me. Even though the person in front of him had cultivated a great Tao, in Lin Fei's eyes, it wasn't anything special. He didn't take it too seriously. Xiong laughed again. Interesting, really interesting. It's rare to see someone who dares to talk to me like that. You're just a golden core cultivator. Even if you're at the peak of your golden core, you wouldn't dare. Xiong took a step forward and the circular great Tao behind him covered everything. The void around him turned into stone. It turned out that Xiong great Tao was the petrification great Tao. It was a very special great Tao. Within the range of this great Tao, anything would be petrified and all life would be stripped away. You can be proud of yourself for forcing me to use my petrification technique. Petrification rippled over continuously. Even the void was petrified. However, when it was about to reach Lin Fei, it was blocked by a layer of power. Only cracking sounds could be heard. Xiong petrifying power could not penetrate through and was blocked just like that. I don't think your Tao is that great. You can't even take care of me. a golden core cultivator. How dare you brag here? Lin Fei laughed. He raised his fist and punched out. Wherever the punch passed, the petrified Xiong Batian raised both his hands and blocked the punch. However, he was forced to take 3 steps back as a result. With every step he took, the ground beneath his feet cracked. After 3 steps, the entire place was in shambles. Xiong Baishan's gaze changed as he stared coldly at Yi Futian. I didn't expect you to be so strong at the peak of the Golden Core realm. Interesting, very interesting. Xiong Batian, will remember you. After saying that, Xiong Batian turned around and left. Hu Meili heaved a sigh of relief after he left. He turned to Lin Fei and thanked him. Thank you, Dao friend Lin. Xiong Batian is a lunatic. I will definitely settle this matter today and not let him find trouble with you. Hu Meili hated Xiong Batian to the core. Lin Fei smiled and shook his head. You won't be able to settle this matter. Based on this brat's mentality, he will definitely kill me. He hasn't made a move yet because he hasn't figured out my background. Once he does, he will make a move. No one can let him live after suffering a loss. Lin Fei had seen his fair share of people. Hence, this brat didn't make a move just now because he couldn't handle Yi Futian. He would either go back to investigate Yi Futian or call for reinforcements. Lin Fei was leaning towards the second option. Lin Fei's identity wasn't something that anyone could find out. Even if Xiong Batian had an impressive background, it wouldn't be easy. Hence, the possibility of him finding help was the highest, with a 90% chance of success. Oh yes, where did this brat come from? I think he's quite capable. He didn't even put your black nether chamber of commerce in his eyes. You're really a failure as the president of Black Nether Chamber of Commerce. Hu Meili also smiled bitterly and said, There's nothing we can do about it. This young Master Xiong Baishan's background isn't small because his father is a Saint King Realm Master. That is, the Saint King Realm above the Void Transformation Realm. Think about how capable this Xiong Batian is. Lin Fei didn't expect that this young Master Xiong Baishan's background would be so great. He turned out to be a Saint King Realm Master above the Void Transformation Realm. One had to know that not everyone could cultivate to the Saint King Realm successfully. If one wanted to become a Saint King Realm Master, one had to fuse 2 Grand Daos into a single principle. Only then could one become a Saint King Realm Master. Our Black Nether Chamber of Commerce used to be a force on Xiong Baishan's side. Later on, we became independent. I didn't expect that Xiong Batian would chase after us. This time, I, Hu Meili, have implicated fellow Taoist Lin. I, Hu Meili, have truly let you down. Hu Meili said guiltily. Lin Fei couldn't help but laugh. I didn't expect President Hu to have such a suitor. With such a suitor, I don't think you need to open your Black Nether Chamber of Commerce anymore. Just follow him. It'll be much better than your current life. Hu Meili could also hear Lin Fei's ridicule. She wasn't angry. That Xiong Batian, even if I die, it's impossible for me to become his woman. Since Xiong Batian is here, then his master should also be here. While fellow Taoist Lin hasn't set his eyes on you yet, it's better for you to leave here first to avoid any worries. Hu Meili was really thinking for Lin Fei's sake. Xiong Baishan's background wasn't small, and Hu Meili was well aware of it. This time, Xiong Batian was most likely here because of her. Lin Fei didn't really care. So what if Xiong Batian was strong? Moreover, he could see that there was something wrong with Xiong Batian. Actually, there's no need to be afraid. Xiong Batian wouldn't kill me so easily. Who knows? He might even beg me later. Lin Fei laughed. Hu Meili was filled with question marks. At this moment, Xiong Baishan's face was gloomy and even a little crazy. Xiong Batian knew that this person was most likely Hu Meili's client. However, Xiong Batian wanted to let Hu Meili know that even if it was a client, it was up to him. Eliminating a few clients would also let him know that not everyone could reject the woman that he, Xiong Batian fancied. Immediately, go and find those people for me. Isn't this kid just a little capable? Let's see how long he can last. Xiong Batian was indeed a little fearful. To be able to resist his great Tao of petrification, this wasn't something that just anyone could do. Therefore, he decided to find a few experts to slowly play with him. It was really rare to see someone with such backbone. Chapter 4483. Young master, this kid is out. It seems like he wants to escape. Humeli is also leading the way. Xiong Batian was sitting in the opposite inn. His subordinates saw Lin Fei coming out. Of course, Humeli was there too. Her red robe was the easiest to recognize. Xiong Batian smiled coldly. I thought this kid was brave. I didn't expect him to be so cowardly. It seems like he is prepared to leave. Did he ask me? Xiong Batian's face was very pale. He had suffered a small loss. His petrification could freeze anyone, let alone a golden core cultivator. But this guy was terrifyingly strong. He was even more certain that he was a golden core cultivator. To be able to break his petrification, such a person must have a powerful background. Do you want me to bring people to stop him? His subordinate asked softly. Xiong Batian took a sip of tea and waved his hand. No need. Let's follow him. I want to see where he can escape to. It's better to fight outside when there are fewer people. I can't say that I bullied him with numbers. Xiong Batian wasn't old. He was only a few hundred years old. That's right, a few hundred years old. His potential was also very powerful. He had already cultivated a great Tao and was an insightful emptiness realm expert. Xiong Batian stood up and chased with his subordinates. Tao friend Lin, where are we going? Humeli had been following Lin Fei out, and she had some doubts in her heart. Lin Fei smiled and said, Of course it's to give him a place to make his move. Don't you think that there are too many people there? If we really fight, a lot of people will die. After all, I love peace, so it's better to fight somewhere else. Humeli burst into laughter. Her smile was as bright as a flower. This was the first time she heard such words. As a cultivator, Humeli was used to life and death. It was rare to see someone like Lin Fei speaking like that. She was surprised and felt that Lin Fei was getting more and more interesting. If you can't find a suitable place to fight, why don't you go to the Hades illusion? That place is deserted and quiet. Netherworld fantasy? Lin Fei furrowed his brows. It sounds like a dangerous place. Humeli smiled and said, Yes, it is a dangerous place. However, this 9U illusory realm is not dangerous at all. The dangers inside have all been cleared by someone. Now, it is just a small training field. All right, let's go to the 9th Hell illusory realm. You lead the way. Xiong Batian followed behind unhurriedly. Young master, they should be heading towards the 9 Nether illusory realm. Could it be that the 9 Nether illusory realm has this kid's helpers? Xiong Batian said disdainfully, What kind of helpers can this brat have? Even if he has helpers, so what? Don't tell me that I don't have subordinates. Are you kidding me? None of the people Xiong Batian, have ever lived to see the sun on the 2nd day. The Netherworld illusory realm was indeed a huge illusory realm. The illusions inside had basically been broken by someone. After entering, Lin Fei felt that this place was quite big. It was the perfect time to strike. Thus, he simply stopped. Let's just wait here for them to come. Just here. Humeli looked at the surrounding empty space. If we were to really fight, this place is a little unsuitable. It doesn't matter. What I want is for this place to be empty. This way, no one will pay attention to us. Don't you think so? Humeli was even more confused about what Lin Fei was trying to do. Do you really intend to fight with Xiong Batian? I heard that Xiong Batian has a Sage King's treasure with him. It is extremely powerful and can kill insightful emptiness realm experts. Lin Fei laughed. I have already told you that I like peace. Why would I fight to the death with him? I just want to chat with him about some things. Chat about some things? Humeli didn't dare to believe it. In the end, she kept her thoughts to herself. She intended to see what the situation would be like in the end. In less than 10 minutes, Xiong Batian came down with his subordinates. Compared to before, there were 2 more old men behind him. These 2 old men were calm and their eyes were cold. No trace of emotion could be seen. However, when their eyes fell on Lin Fei, their murderous intent intensified. Run. Why aren't you running anymore? Humeli, you really know how to choose a place. I think this place is not bad. Why don't we make it more convenient and have some fun here? Xiong Batian laughed. At the same time, the people behind him took out a flagpole. Instantly, layers of ripples appeared in the 9 nether illusory realm, forming a formation. Humeli, who was at the side, was a little anxious when she saw the formation. Not good. This is the Daluo Heaven Formation. It can isolate everything and form an independent vacuum zone. This is bad. Humeli was still very knowledgeable. Therefore, she could recognize that this was the Daluo Heaven Formation. It was also a very powerful formation. It seemed that Xiong Batian had brought this formation out. If it was an ordinary person, they really wouldn't be able to do it. Lin Fei could naturally see that this formation was very ordinary. It was no wonder that this guy was so confident to follow them. He even brought 2 insightful void experts with him. It seemed that they were in the late insightful void realm. This young master Xiong Batian really had a great background. The Sage King's father actually arranged for such experts to follow him. It was enough for him to do whatever he wanted in the spiritual realm. Xiong Batian, you're so despicable. Since you're following us, aren't you afraid of embarrassing your father, the Sage King? Humeli also knew how to play tricks. Xiong Batian's face turned slightly cold. After all, if this matter with someone and a little golden core expert were to spread, it would indeed be embarrassing for his father. Shut up. So what if I'm bullying the weak? There's no one else here. I also have the Daluo Heaven Formation. Do you think anyone else will come and save you? Only the heavens, the earth, and me know. Do you think anyone else will know? Lin Fei looked at Xiong Batian indifferently. I didn't expect you to really come. It seems that you found help and 2 insightful void experts? But do you really think you can deal with me? Xiong Batian took a step forward and laughed out loud. It's you. Previously, I just didn't go all out. Now, I'll let you see what regret is. The 2 insightful void old men at the side immediately attacked. As soon as they attacked, Lin Fei felt that the great Tao of these 2 was very powerful. The great Tao of one of them was a little fierce. It turned out to be void corrosion. It was very powerful. It broke the body. There was a crackling sound in the void. As for the other old man's great Tao, it was a little special. It could actually instantly suck out a part of the energy of heaven and earth. Even a part of Lin Fei's body was sucked out. It was indeed an eye-opener. They really doted on him to the bone. Ordinary people really didn't have this ability. Chapter 4484. The 2 powerhouses that Xiong Batian brought were indeed very powerful. Lin Fei felt a great deal of pressure when he made his move. One was a corrosive great path, and the other was a great path that drained energy. No matter which one it was, they were both very powerful, especially now that they were working together. No one would be able to take it. When Humeli saw this scene, she broke out in a cold sweat. The powerhouses that Xiong Batian brought were really too powerful. She would not be a match for any one of them, let alone 2 of them working together. Chairman Hu, you will see him being tortured to death by my subordinates later. Don't worry, I will keep him alive. I will let him know that anyone who gets close to you will not have a good ending. Xiong Batian snorted coldly. With these 2 elite subordinates, he was not afraid that this lad would survive. Both of them had cultivated a great Tao. However, this great Tao was no ordinary great Tao. Based on their calculations, it could be a 7th level great path. Therefore, This lad would not be able to take it no matter what he was capable of. Xiong Batian did not attack. He wanted to see what else this lad could do to withstand the attacks of his two subordinates. Lin Fei seemed to be under some pressure, but in fact he was not. The corrosive great path did not even manage to penetrate the surface of his body before it was taken down. After all, Yi Xian's body was not that easy to break. As for the other one that drained energy, it was not a taboo. If it was an ordinary person, draining a portion of energy from their body would indeed affect their strength. But the energy in Lin Fei's body was indeed a little more vigorous. Therefore, it could not be drained at all. After a series of attacks, the two were a little surprised. They looked at each other. Surprisingly, they did not let this lad lose. Instead, he looked like he was fine. They could not help but feel a little anxious. They had patted their chests and promised to take down this lad. When the time came, they would bring him to their young master and teach him a lesson. This was a little different from what they had imagined. Therefore, they attacked even more violently. They even drained energy 3 times in a row. The old man's face was a little pale. As for the other, he had pushed the great Tao of corrosion to the limit, but it still seemed like he was unable to cause any harm to Lin Fei. I don't think the people you brought are good. This can't even be considered a warm-up exercise. Lin Fei shook his head slightly. His figure flickered and instantly broke through the corrosive path. With a single punch, there were hundreds of punches in the air. It landed on the two of them. Both of them activated their great path defenses, but as soon as they were activated, cracking sounds could be heard. Then the two of them were sent flying. The two of you only have some ability in the great Tao, but against me you are a little lacking. You should be glad that I am still in a good mood. Otherwise, they wouldn't be like this. Lin Fei smiled at Xiong Batian. Didn't you say that you weren't satisfied yet? Then let's have a good fight. He threw a punch. Xiong Batian blocked. In the end, a huge palm appeared and landed on Xiong Batian's body. Then, a knee landed on Xiong Batian's body. Xiong Batian was sent flying. A ball of power kept exploding in his body. Then, Lin Fei appeared behind him. He clenched his fist, and there was a loud rumbling sound. Xiong Batian was smashed into the ground. The ground cracked. The two old men had just gotten up when they saw an invisible sword light sweep over. They were sent flying. Even if they were great Tao experts, they weren't a match for Lin Fei at this moment. Lin Fei's foundation was too strong, and it wasn't something they could fight against. Lin Fei grabbed Xiong Batian from the ground again. He casually picked it up and knocked it on the ground like a stick again and again. So what if you brought subordinates? In my eyes, you are just that. You are amazing to have cultivated a great Tao, and you are amazing to have a strong father. In my eyes, you are nothing. There was another loud rumbling sound. The surroundings had become extremely messy, and even Humeili couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Her beautiful eyes were filled with surprise. She never thought that Lin Fei, who looked like a golden core, would be so terrifyingly strong. It was really unbelievable that a golden core expert could beat a great Tao expert. She couldn't believe it was true. When did such a super expert appear in the spiritual world? That's right. If such a person wasn't a super expert, then what was he? If he entered the nascent soul realm, he wouldn't just be able to kill great Tao experts. Xiong Batian didn't know how many times he had been attacked. He was completely exhausted and laid on the ground looking up at the sky. He had never felt that he had lost so quickly and in such a pathetic manner. Even his life was in the hands of his opponent. But why was his opponent just a guy at the peak of the golden core? Why was that? This was the most difficult thing for Xiong Batian to accept. You will definitely regret attacking me like this. I will definitely gather experts to tear you into pieces. Even at this time, Xiong Batian was still very arrogant. Of course, he was a little guilty, but he couldn't let go of his pride. Yi Xiaolong kicked Xiong Batian's body again. This guy smashed down heavily in an arc. The ground caved in again. Half of his body had sunk into the ground. Lin Fei came in front of him unhurriedly. To be honest, it would be a waste of time to kill someone like you. You should be glad that you met me. If you didn't meet me, you wouldn't be able to live for long. Lin Fei chuckled. Xiong Batian, who was originally angry, suddenly changed his expression. He seemed to have heard something. Nonsense. How can I not be alive? No one in the spiritual world dares to kill me unless they are willing to offend my father. Lin Fei squatted down and patted Xiong Batian's face. Are you sure? You brat, I'm not saying that you can only live for half a year at most. By then you will be dead. If it was someone else who said this, Xiong Batian might not believe it. But Xiong Batian had to consider this person's words. Could it be that he really couldn't save his life? If you're not sure, then I can remind you that you only have half a year left to live. No, that's not right. After fighting with me just now, I estimate that you only have 2 or 3 months left. If you don't believe me, you can take a look for yourself. Humeli was also surprised. Chapter 4485. Xiong Batian didn't really believe it at first, but now he was a little hesitant. It seemed like there was no need for this person to lie to him. If he wanted to kill him with his strength, it would be a piece of cake. But if he wanted to use underhanded methods, then there was no need. I guess you still have doubts in your heart. After all, my words sound like I'm trying to trick you, but you can try. Lin Fei smiled and said, This method of testing is quite simple. If you don't know, I can teach you one. I guarantee that you will know the condition of your body. Xiong Batian hesitated for a moment. I'll believe you this time. If you dare to lie to me, I have a sage ruler's treasure in my hands. I will definitely make you suffer. This was Xiong Batian's only source of confidence, other than the sage ruler's treasure. There was really nothing else that could defeat this person. Then listen carefully. I'll pass on a little technique to you now. See for yourself if your life will be affected. Lin Fei said word by word. He was neither hurried nor slow. It was only a few hundred words, but it was filled with a mysterious aura. Be it Humeli or Xiong Batian, they were in disbelief and finally understood. This person really had a powerful background. A secret technique like this was really valuable. More importantly, not many people could master it. Lin Fei had a lot of secret techniques like this. So what if he took one out? Xiong Batian was stunned again. Then he started to comprehend this technique. In just a short time, he had completely mastered it. He started to check on his condition. His face was originally pale, but then it turned a little black. Finally, it turned green, and his entire face was filled with anger. Despicable fella! Someone actually dared to lay a hand on me. Xiong Batian roared. Through this technique, Xiong Batian could see the situation clearly. He had indeed been schemed against, and he didn't know. That was the hardest thing to accept. Xiong Batian did not have any doubts. Even he didn't have a technique like this. Even his father couldn't find a technique like this. However, this person was able to casually take it out. It could be imagined that he should have many such techniques. Do you believe me now? You were indeed schemed against. There's no helping it. People like you have many brothers and sisters. It's hard to guarantee that you won't be schemed against. Fortunately, you met me. Otherwise, you'd be dead. Xiong Batian suddenly struggled to get up. Senior, save me, save me. I only have 2 months left. If you don't save me, I will really die. Xiong Batian was very clear that he must have been schemed against by his siblings. As for how he was schemed against, he had no idea at all. Right now, he was in a very bad situation. He didn't have much lifespan left. He only had 2 months left. That was the worst part. 2 months was neither long nor short, but it could pass in the blink of an eye. Xiong Batian could not find a way to break his technique, because he only had 2 months left to live, and the person in front of him could see that. Xiong Batian naturally hoped to get help from the other party. Lin Fei chuckled. Now you know fear. I'm just reminding you that I can't do anything about your lifespan. Xiong Batian instantly felt a little desperate. He had pinned all his hopes on the other party. "Senior, I know I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. Please save me. As long as you can save me, I'm willing to give you everything I have without hesitation." In order to survive, Xiong Batian went all out. As for going back to find his siblings, he definitely wouldn't be able to find them. To be able to steal his lifespan without anyone noticing, it was naturally not something that he could easily track down. Even if he cried to his father, it would be useless. His father, as a Saint King Realm Master, never cared about such trivial things. He even encouraged brothers and sisters to fight against each other. Just like raising a gu, the most powerful one in the end would inherit everything. Xiong Batian knew this since he was very young, so it was useless for him to go back. He would be ridiculed as a waste. Right now, the only person worthy of his help was the person in front of him. Perhaps this person had a way. This was his only chance. Lin Fei didn't expect Xiong Batian to be so quick-witted. He immediately understood. He was indeed a little interested in this Xiong Batian. The other party was the son of a Saint King Realm Master. In this spirit world, Lin Fei didn't mind leaving a few more clues. And this Xiong Batian was a very good choice. Humeli, who was behind him, didn't expect Xiong Batian to be schemed against. The son of a Saint King Realm Master only had 2 months left to live. She didn't even dare to think about it. In particular, the other party was a Paradise Realm Master who had cultivated a great Tao. Therefore, Humeli was even more curious about this person, called Lin Fei. It was as if he was shrouded in a mysterious veil. Like this veil, Humeli very much wanted to uncover it and see what this person's origins were. "I really can't help you. After all, I don't have much lifespan left. Even if you take out something, it may not be to my liking." Xiong Batian wasn't stupid. As the son of a Saint King, his mind was quite sharp. He immediately understood what was going on. "I don't know what Senior wants. As long as you want it, I will definitely help you get it. I'm not good at many things, but I have a wide network. Who doesn't give me face? If you don't believe me, you can ask President Hu." At this time, Xiong Batian even changed the way he addressed her. He didn't dare to directly call the other party Humeli. Humeli nodded and spoke for Xiong Batian. "What he said is right. In terms of connections, even I am not as good as Xiong Batian. He knows more secrets than I do. If fellow Taoist Lin has any problems, you can ask him. He definitely won't let you down." Xiong Batian breathed a sigh of relief. He was secretly glad that he hadn't completely offended this Humeli. Otherwise, if she said a few bad things about him, all his previous efforts would have been in vain. Lin Fei really liked this Xiong Batian. It was good to have a quick mind. Although Lin Fei had obtained a lot of Tao heart fragments in this dark nether chamber of commerce, it was still too little. It was far from meeting Lin Fei's requirements. Therefore, he had to obtain more Tao heart fragments. Then, if I want to make Tao heart fragments, as well as heaven and earth herbs that are hundreds of thousands of years old, do you have any way to get them? Chapter 4486. Xiong Batian's brain reacted quickly. If he didn't react quickly, he might not have a chance at all. So, Senior wants the Tao heart fragment and mature world herbs. That's easy, that's easy. Xiong Batian nodded repeatedly. How could there be any hesitation? The more he hesitated, the worse the situation would be. "Give me 5 days, no, give me 3 days. I'll get you the Tao heart fragment and world herbs." Xiong Batian seemed to be afraid that Lin Fan would go back on his word, so he hurriedly said. Lin Fei said, "All right, I'll wait for you in this black nether chamber of commerce. When you bring the things here, as long as I'm satisfied, I'll think of some ways to extend your life. At least you won't die in 2 months. The sun is very beautiful, and the spiritual world is very interesting. What do you think?" Xiong Batian nodded repeatedly, turned around and left. "Fellow Taoist Lin, your methods are really impressive. Xiong is the son of a Saint King realm, but I didn't expect him to be scared by you so easily. Now he's even helping you search for things. Are you looking down on our black nether chamber of commerce? Humeili walked over, revealing a charming smile. Lin Fei laughed. Isn't it because your black nether chamber of commerce is afraid that you can't take it out, so you can only ask someone else? If you can take it out, then we'll naturally have a deal. Lin Fei didn't say it too clearly. He believed that Humeili would definitely understand. As expected, after Lin Fei said this, Humeili's expression changed a little. It was indeed a little different. Humeili was a smart woman, so of course she could tell. She didn't expect that this Lin Fei really needed the Tao Heart Fragment and World Herbs again. Could it be that this fellow is really studying the fragment of the heart of Great Tao? No one would dare to do such a thing. He had already negotiated with him. Yet he actually wanted even more fragments of the heart of the Great Tao. This person was too mysterious. Then I'll try my best to help you collect them in the next 3 days. What do you think? Lin Fei smiled. With a great beauty helping me collect the fragments of the Great Tao Heart, I naturally have no objections. However, I will have to stay at your Dark Spirit Merchant Group for 3 days. You won't find it troublesome, right? Humeili shook her head. Of course it's no trouble at all. You are an esteemed guest. Even I feel honored to have you come to our dark nether chamber of commerce. Humeili really hoped that Lin Fei could stay in their dark nether chamber of commerce for a few days. Only such a distinguished guest could be kept. More importantly, Lin Fei still had a Tao heart in his possession. He had to get it. Now that he had the fragment of the Great Tao core, he had to collect the worldly medicinal ingredients. Just like that, Lin Fei moved into the Dark Spirit Merchant Group. In the blink of an eye, 3 days passed. The first to arrive was Humeili. She had finally collected the Tao core fragment, as well as the medicinal ingredients. He did not expect the beauty to be so fast. 50,000 fragments of the Great Tao core, 10 500,000-year-old herbs, and even a divine tree. As soon as Humeili came in, Lin Fei felt it. Even the tree of life was rippling. He also rejoiced that he came to the right place. This Humeili indeed had her own ideas. Her speed of doing things was also quite fast. 50,000 fragments of the Great Tao core could really condense quite a number of Great Tao cores. Moreover, it could carry out continuous fusion. This was what Lin Fei was interested in. A Tier 9 Great Tao core was really useless. Those that could be taken out had to be fused more than a few times. That was the best. Unlike the 2 experts by Xiong side, they had definitely passed this Great Tao more than once. Hence, this allowed Lin Fei to see the unusualness of this fused Great Tao core. If this fused into a Tier 1 Great Tao core, it would definitely be priceless. Humeili also spent a very long time to gather all these things. After all, the time was too short. If she was given a little more time, it would definitely be easier than it was now. Fortunately, she had finally completed the mission this time. Humeili had been thinking about this Tier 9 Great Tao core constantly. Tao, friend Lin, the things that you wanted, I have gathered them for you. Take a look yourself. Humeili took out a storage ring and placed it in front of Lin Fei. Lin Fei casually glanced at it. I am very satisfied with the things that you have gathered. It seems like this cooperation is quite enjoyable. Lin Fei also took out the Great Tao core and handed it to Humeili. Humeili carefully received it. It was genuine and honest. She heaved a sigh of relief and quickly kept it. Thank you, Tao friend Lin. You have brought such a good thing for our Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce. I thank you on behalf of the entire Chamber of Commerce. Although a Tier 9 Great Tao core was nothing. However, such a Great Tao core was something that many people dreamed of. Many nascent soul realm experts couldn't break through because they couldn't cultivate a Great Tao core. However, if one had a complete great Tao core. They could casually refine it and become an insightful emptiness realm expert. Not only would their lifespan increase, but their strength would also increase. Their future potential would be limited, but they would still be an insightful emptiness realm expert. If they obtained another great Tao core, they could still fuse it. They could still find a way out in the future. After Lin Fei received the storage item, he didn't absorb it immediately. Instead, he put it away, because there was still one person who didn't appear, and that was Xiong Batian. The agreement was for 3 days. Today was the 3rd day. It was time to see if Xiong Batian would come. As he waited, it was almost afternoon. Humeli brought over dishes. They were all exquisite and could be considered the specialty of this place. Dao friend Lin, will Xiong Batian not come? Humeli said. Lin Fei leisurely tasted the delicacies. To be honest, the food tasted good. At least Lin Fei liked it. Xiong Batian will definitely come, because he really only has 2 months to live. Do you think he won't come? This time, Lin Fei was sure to eat Xiong Batian, unless he really didn't care about his 2 months of life. As long as he wanted to continue living, he would definitely come. When the time came, he would regret it. As expected, in the evening, Xiong Batian came. However, when Humeli saw Xiong Batian, she was a little surprised and even a little shocked. How did you end up like this? It turned out that Xiong Batian was in a sorry state. Even his complexion had deteriorated. It seemed like he didn't have 2 months left and was on the verge of death. Senior, you have to save me. I've already brought you the item. If you don't save me, I'm really done for. I only have 3 days left to live. Xiong Batian knelt down with a plop the moment he came over and cried out in disappointment. Even if Humeli was beside him, it was the same. Xiong Batian presented the ring with both hands. Chapter 4487. Xiong Batian was indeed in a sorry state. It was as though he had been ambushed, and even his life force was extremely weak. Humeli might not be able to tell, but Lin Fei could see it clearly. This Xiong Batian was definitely ambushed, and it might even be one of his brothers and sisters. What a pitiful fellow. Looks like you're quite trustworthy. You came back in 3 days. If you were half a minute late, I would have left. Lin Fei smiled. Xiong Batian hurriedly said, The things are all in the ring. Senior, please take a look. This is the best I can do. I believe you will be satisfied. Xiong Batian did not dare to guarantee anything. He did not expect to be ambushed when he went back to collect things. In the end, he finally managed to break out of the encirclement, but instead he felt the taste of death. This feeling of death was getting closer and closer to him, and there was even a deathly aura around him. This deathly aura was very obvious, and this made Xiong Batian even more afraid and anxious. He was very careful along the way. Finally, he arrived at the dark spirit chamber of commerce and saw Senior Lin Fei. He could finally heave a sigh of relief. He was afraid that if he was late, the other party would leave and he would really be dead. Lin Fei picked up the ring and wanted to see how capable this Xiong Batian was to be able to get what he wanted for him. Even though he had obtained 50,000 fragments of the great Tao heart from Humeli and some natural herbs, it was still too little for Lin Fei. If Lin Fei wanted to have a stronger great Tao heart, he would have to keep fusing and fusing. Therefore, he needed a huge number. When he sent his spiritual sense into the ring, Lin Fei secretly took in a breath of cold air. He was a little shocked by this fellow. Good heavens, he actually took out so many fragments of the great Tao heart. This fellow couldn't have dug out a few forbidden areas, right? It turned out that there were a total of 100,000 fragments of the great Tao heart. There were all sorts of them. Apart from that, he also saw the natural herbs. The natural herbs were all at least 100,000 years old. There were 20 to 30 that were 100,000 to 1 million years old. And there were actually as many as 10 that were more than 1 million years old, which was quite a lot more than Humeli. After all, medicinal herbs that were tens of thousands of years old to hundreds of thousands of years old naturally had different effects. Those that were over 1,000,000 years old could be counted on one's fingers. Not everyone could get their hands on it. Even if one wanted to buy it, one would need a huge sum of middle or upper rank spirit stones. Lin Fei knew that he did not have the ability to get his hands on it. This time, he really admired Xiong Batian. Sure enough, he was capable. Apart from these two things, what interested Lin Fei the most was this guy actually put a piece of wood in the ring. This piece of wood was not very long, only about 2 meters or so, and it gave off an ancient aura. However, to Lin Fei, this piece of wood filled Lin Fei with excitement. It was actually a piece of heavenly divine wood, and it was a complete one at that. It had not been refined at all. This was what made Lin Fei the most excited. From the start, he never thought that Xiong Batian would be able to get him the original version of heavenly divine wood. Although Lin Fei had obtained quite a few items refined from the sky-piercing divine wood, these sky-piercing divine woods had all lost their original power. It had become completely different, and now this original piece of heavenly divine wood was the most original, and there were no changes at all. He did not know who collected it back then. This heavenly divine wood was better than other things. This was what Lin Fei cared about the most, and even the tree of life showed some fluctuations. It seemed that this Xiong Batian really did something right for once. At this moment, Xiong Batian was feeling uneasy. For this item, he had spent a lot of effort, and in the end he was ambushed. It was not easy for him to escape to this dark spirit chamber of commerce, and he was almost completely finished. He could not hold on any longer. His lifespan was not long now, so at this time he was more looking forward to it than anyone else, and more nervous than anyone else. What if this thing was not enough? Xiong Batian had never cared so much before. In the past, Xiong Batian did not need to worry at all. But now he had no choice but to worry, because if he was not careful, he would really die here. His bright future would be completely gone, and he did not even have the chance to seek revenge on his brothers and sisters. Although he did not know which of his brothers and sisters did it, Xiong Batian more or less knew something about the situation. Maybe it was one of them. This time the items you took were not bad, and still caught my eye, especially the last piece of heavenly divine wood. You are quite capable, kid. Lin Fei smiled. This smile gave Xiong Batian a chance to heave a sigh of relief. He was not afraid of anything else, but he was afraid that Lin Fei would say that he was not satisfied with the item, and then he would be completely hopeless. Senior, it's good that you like it. I also got the heavenly divine wood from somewhere else, and it was not easy. Xiong Batian did not dare to be complacent at this time. Seeing that you're so diligent, I'll give you a hand. The answer that Xiong Batian took out was indeed quite satisfactory to Lin Fei. Naturally, he did not mind helping Xiong Batian. As for whether Xiong Batian could live longer in the future, it would naturally depend on Xiong Batian's ability. Lin Fei flicked his finger, and a few water droplets instantly fell into Xiong Batian's body. Xiong Batian did not resist at all, and in the blink of an eye his entire body looked much better. Even the deathly aura on his body disappeared in the blink of an eye. Even Humeli, who was standing at the side, was very shocked. Such a huge change was simply unbelievable. Furthermore, it was done by the hands of a young man, and she almost screamed out loud. Fortunately, she managed to control herself in the end. Xiong Batian also exclaimed in surprise, "Finally, I can no longer feel the deathly aura in my body. I can finally live for a long time." Xiong Batian had never been so happy. Originally, he had already felt the deathly aura. The deathly aura had disappeared completely. Even his injuries seemed to have recovered. Don't be too happy too early. Your current lifespan is only 10 years. After 10 years, you will still die, unless you break through and become a Saint King Master. Otherwise, there is no hope. Lin Fei's words were like a basin of cold water poured over Xiong Batian's head. It made his whole heart feel cold. Xiong Batian was so happy just now that he really forgot that his lifespan was limited, and it was impossible for him to break through to the Saint King realm. His whole face immediately fell, but in the blink of an eye he recovered. "Senior, you have great divine ability. If I can help you obtain these things, then can you let me live longer?" Xiong Batian was not afraid of losing face at this time. Chapter 4488. Xiong Batian's reaction was indeed fast, because he was a smart person. He knew that if he wanted to extend his lifespan, he might have to rely on this senior in front of him. Otherwise, he would definitely die. He knew that things that could increase one's lifespan were extremely rare, pitifully few. Even his father might not have much on hand. Even if he had it, he would not take it out easily, let alone buy it elsewhere. In any auction, as long as these treasures of life appeared, it would definitely cause people to act like fools, and it might even cause a storm of carnage. This kind of thing was not unheard of, but it was very common. Although Xiong Batian's father was a Saint King, and his father was an expert among Saint Kings, it was impossible for him to obtain life energy. But this person in front of him had mysterious means, and in the blink of an eye he had gained 10 years of lifespan. 10 years he did not dare to imagine. It felt good to be alive. Therefore, Xiong Batian knew very well what he should do. "I'm a little tired now. When I come out, I'll have a good chat with you. Think about what to tell me." Lin Fei naturally did not intend to waste time after obtaining the fragment of the great Tao heart, the heaven and earth herbs, and the most important divine wood. In the spiritual world, danger was everywhere, and improving one's strength was the best guarantee. Xiong Batian did not dare to ask any more, and left obediently. Even Humeli did the same. "Taoist Lin, if you have any instructions, please don't hesitate to tell me." Humeli and Xiong Batian left, not daring to stay in the courtyard. "President Hu, I'm really sorry for what happened before. I won't pester you anymore. People like me are not qualified." Xiong Batian also learned to bow his head at this time. He did not know what kind of relationship Humeli had with Senior Lin, but he had to admit that Senior Lin had a good impression of Humeli. Xiong Batian took out a box of pills. "This is a small token of my appreciation. Take it as my apology. I hope President Hu doesn't mind." When Humeli saw the box and smelled a trace of fragrance, she could not help but be shocked. This was a good pill. Even if you had the money, you wouldn't necessarily be able to buy it. Only saint rulers would have it. Who would have thought that Xiong Batian would be willing to give it to him? Humeli didn't have a good impression of Xiong Batian, but her impression of him changed a lot because of this gift. She knew that Xiong Batian had something to ask of her. Thus, he accepted the gift without hesitation. If he didn't accept it, Xiong Batian would probably be unable to eat or sleep well. Xiong Batian indeed had such thoughts. As long as Humeli didn't accept it, she would feel a little upset. Fortunately, Humeli finally accepted it, so there was nothing to worry about. "President Hu, it's all thanks to you this time. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't even know when I would have died. I hope we can cooperate well in the future." Xiong Batian was indeed very grateful to Humeli. If not for this matter, how would he have known that he had been schemed against? He even accidentally got to know such a powerful senior. Up till now, Xiong Batian still couldn't tell the origins of this senior. This senior was truly a little mysterious. At the same time, in the room, Lin Fei set up a series of techniques. It could be seen that the power in the room was hidden in the void for a long time. If someone came in at this time, they would definitely be killed instantly. Even an insightful emptiness realm expert wouldn't stand a chance, unless it was Tian Dongshu. They might be able to hold on for a while, but other experts would definitely die if they came in. This was also one of Lin Fei's trump cards. He really wasn't afraid that someone would barge in. Moreover, this was the Dark Spirit Trade Association. He believed that Humeli would definitely arrange for people to keep an eye on this place. Initially, I thought it would take a long time to get the heavenly wood. I didn't expect it to be so easy. This Xiong Batian really has a background. These few drops of heavenly water of life were not wasted at all. Among these items, the heavenly wood was Lin Fei's favorite. It was definitely a really good item. Therefore, Lin Fei immediately let the tree of life refine the heavenly wood. From start to finish, it only took half an hour's time. This section of the heavenly wood was completely refined. The benefits were obvious. First, the tree of life had grown a lot taller, and its leaves were luxuriant. More importantly, it was producing more and more heavenly water of life. Originally, it was only a few dozen drops. Now, it had broken through to 200 drops. In other words, it could produce 200 drops of heavenly water of life a day. This was definitely a huge improvement. Looks like I still underestimated the heavenly wood's effect on the tree of life. It actually increased the production of heavenly water of life by a lot. It reached 200 drops in one go. That's a bit scary. This was beyond Lin Fei's expectations. Being able to produce 200 drops of heavenly water of life a day would accumulate to a terrifying number over time. Whether it was in a fight or at any time, it could keep Lin Fei in peak condition. This kind of gain was definitely worth it. After refining the heavenly wood, Lin Fei began to refine the heart of Tao fragment. Compared to other items, the heart of Tao fragment was quite promising. However, its effects were much worse than the heavenly wood. The tree of life had also grown a lot taller. This did not increase the heavenly water of life. It only strengthened Lin Fei's foundation. His fleshly body had also become much stronger. Of course, the most important thing was the heart of Tao condensed on the tree of life. In total, he had produced more than 2,000 heart of Tao from 150,000 heart of Tao fragments. Of course, they were all Tier 9 heart of Tao. To Lin Fei, these heart of Tao were really useless. He might as well fuse them. Over 2,000 heart of Tao were fused together. Lin Fei's harvest was not bad. He actually obtained a Tier 3 heart of Tao. There were also several Tier 5 and Tier 6 heart of Tao. These heart of Tao were clearly much better than the Tier 9 heart of Tao. His power attribute had also become stronger. Of course, this was not perfect. Lin Fei still felt that it was a little lacking. However, if he sold these heart of Tao, he could definitely fetch a good price. It's a pity that I'm walking the great Tao of body refinement, and there's also this life-sizer sword. So, these heart of Tao really aren't of much help to me. After this round of fusing, Lin Fei also noticed some problems. The tree of life's fusion was completely random. It would not be like what Lin Fei imagined at all. Hence, this was all dependent on luck. However, looking at it now, Lin Fei's luck was not very good. Chapter 4489. Lin Fei did not continue researching as there was no point in doing so. Fortunately, he had already obtained a rank 3 heart of Tao. This was a good item. No matter which nascent soul cultivator refined it, they would definitely be able to create a powerful enlightenment stage expert. At the very least, they would be in the middle stage of enlightenment stage. This was the benefit of the heart of Tao. The higher the grade of the heart of Tao, the stronger it would be. After all, the higher the attributes, the stronger the heart of Tao was. What Lin Fei needed to do was simple. He needed to find out from Xiong Batian where the heavenly wood came from. That was the most important thing. It was indeed a huge improvement for the tree of life to produce 200 drops of God water of life. How could Lin Fei miss such an opportunity? It was absolutely impossible. Therefore, he had to find out from Xiong Batian what was going on. He definitely could not miss it. He knew that Xiong Batian would definitely know. 3 days passed in a row. Xiong Batian had been waiting for the senior to come out. He did not dare to leave. He had 10 years of lifespan now, but the moment he fought, his lifespan would be depleted faster and faster. Deep in his heart, he thoroughly hated his brothers and sisters. If they hadn't schemed against him, he wouldn't be in such a terrible state. Senior Lin has come out. He wants you to go over. Just like that, he waited. Xiong Batian finally saw Humeili. She was still dressed in a red robe, looking strong and beautiful. Xiong Batian hurriedly stood up. "Thank you, President Hu. I will go over now." "Oh, right. How is Senior feeling? Can you tell me about it?" Xiong Batian knew that he had to get close. Although he did not know what the Senior was going to do with so many heart of Tao fragments, Xiong Batian still had to think about it. If the Senior was in a bad mood, he would have to talk to him. Hu merely gave him some face this time. "My mood is all right." With that, Xiong Batian was completely at ease. As long as the Senior was in a good mood, then everything else wouldn't be a problem. Xiong Batian kept his arrogance and came to the courtyard of the Senior. "Senior, I heard that you were looking for me. What instructions do you have for me?" Xiong Batian was very proactive. He had to take responsibility for this matter first. Lin Fei glanced at Xiong Batian. This guy had 10 years of lifespan, and his complexion had recovered quite a bit. He wasn't as ugly as before. He pointed to the side and said, "Sit down and talk." How would Xiong Batian dare to sit in front of Lin Fei? "I'll just stand. After all, you're my Senior. It wouldn't look good for me to sit next to you." Lin Fei didn't say anything else. "Tell me, where did you get the great Tao heart fragment and the heavenly wood?" Xiong Batian had already guessed it, but he never thought that he would actually ask about the fragment of the great Tao heart and the heavenly tree. Fortunately, he had already thought about it. "I obtained this fragment of the Tao heart and the heavenly divine wood from Chaos City. That's the place with the most items, as it's a special place in our spirit realm." Xiong Batian did not hide anything and spoke honestly. He was very detailed, as if he was afraid that Lin Fei would not know. Lin Fei really didn't know that there was such a place in the spirit realm. Chaos City? Once he heard these 3 words, he knew that this place was very different. This Chaos City was built by a holy king. This holy king is called the Holy King of Chaos. He's not the only holy king in the entire Chaos City. There are 3 other holy kings who are very powerful. And this Holy King of Chaos is said to be breaking through to a higher realm. He'll become a top-notch powerhouse in the spirit realm with just one more step. After searching in the River of Memories, Lin Fei really found records about Chaos City. He really did find a record of Chaos City. There was indeed such a place in the spirit realm. This Chaos City was very special. Whether it was the human race or the demon race, they were all wary of this Chaos City. This was because this Holy King of Chaos was very powerful. He was considered a top-notch powerhouse among the Holy Kings. He had always been guarding Chaos City. That place was a chaotic place, and if one wanted to stand firm there, one would need to have strength. Without strength, one couldn't stand firm at all. If one went there, one would be killed. As such, anyone who was wanted in Chaos City would head to Chaos City. Because they could protect their lives there, anyone who entered Chaos City had to abide by the rules. Otherwise, they would be killed. Even the major forces on the human race's side didn't dare to offend this Holy King of Chaos. Fortunately, this Holy King of Chaos didn't have any ambition. Other than this Chaos City, he had no interest in anything else. Therefore, this Chaos City became a special place over time. After looking through the information, Lin Fei frowned slightly. "Are you sure that place still has the heavenly divine wood and the great Tao heart fragment?" Although Lin Fei knew there was a place called Chaos City, he wasn't very clear about the specific situation. It seemed like Xiong Batian was very clear about this matter. Xiong Batian hurriedly said, "Chaos City is a very special place. The Chaos Chamber of Commerce has countless things. Most of them are treasures obtained by killing and burning. They are all sold there. I bought the heavenly divine wood there. Not only can you buy these things there, but you can also buy slaves. Whether it's golden core or nascent soul, or even a crippled paradise realm, you can buy them as long as you have spirit stones. Therefore, Chaos City has another name, the world of the rich." Lin Fei was not surprised at all by such a statement. As long as you have spirit stones, you can really live a life that ordinary people couldn't live anywhere. Lin Fei asked a few more things and was even more interested in Chaos City. According to Xiong Batian, Chaos City still had the heavenly divine wood. This was something he knew, but it wasn't cheap. Xiong Batian spent more than half of his wealth to get these things. Therefore, it was impossible to go to Chaos City to buy spirit stones. Lin Fei pondered for a while. He really had to have some wealth to go to Chaos City. Although Lin Fei had quite a lot of wealth now, it might not be enough to go to Chaos City. Seems like I have to sell a few more great Dao hearts. Only then can I gather a large sum of money. Otherwise, I won't be able to survive in Chaos City. Sell the great Dao heart. The first thing Lin Fei thought of was Humeli. However, he had just sold a rank 9 great Dao heart. If he sold another one, he might be suspected by Humeli. Lin Fei quickly suppressed this thought. He already had layers of veils on his body. What was there to be afraid of if Humeli suspected him again? After all, his current strength wasn't that simple. Go and ask President who to come in. I have something to talk to her. Chapter 4490. It's here. Xiong Batian must be hiding here. I heard that there's a place called the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce. At the same time, a group of 5 people arrived outside the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce. They were sizing up the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce. These people were all dressed in black cloaks, and their faces could not be seen clearly, but the cold aura they exuded was extremely cold. Everyone could feel it. If Xiong Batian was here, he would definitely be able to recognize them. These were the 5 people who chased after Xiong Batian all the way. They had thought that they would succeed in what they were determined to do. But who would have thought that Xiong Batian was so cunning and had so many treasures in his hands, causing them to fail? After some investigation, they found out that this guy ran to the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce and hid there for a few days. They waited outside for a long time, but he did not come out. In the end, they decided to come to the Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce to get rid of Xiong Batian. As long as they really got rid of Xiong Batian, they would be able to get 30 million middle-grade spirit stones. That would be 6 million middle-grade spirit stones for each person. No one could refuse such a huge temptation. They could not refuse. Outsiders could not either. My people have confirmed that Xiong Batian is in this Dark Spirit Chamber of Commerce. Let's go straight to him. Even if they react, they won't be able to stop the 5 of us. The 5 black-cloaked figures then disappeared. Layers of ripples appeared in the space, as if they had never appeared before. Humeli was a little surprised after hearing Xiong Batian's words. Daoist Lin wants to see me? This was a little different from what Humeli had expected. But on second thought, Humeli seemed to have thought of something. Maybe the matter of going in this time had something to do with Xiong Batian. This was something that Humeli had an intuition about. I'm guessing maybe Senior is short of money. Xiong Batian hesitated for a moment, then whispered. Then he closed his eyes and rested. When Humeli heard this, she completely understood what was going on. She looked at Xiong Batian gratefully. She turned around and walked inside. These few days, Humeli had been in a good mood. The heart of Tao had already been used, and it really allowed her nascent soul to break through to the void insight realm. Although it was only at the early void insight realm, she had mastered the power of the Tao, which was not something that nascent soul could resist. This was a huge chasm that not everyone could cross. Humeli could not help but feel a little excited. She seemed to have guessed it. When he entered the courtyard, he saw Lin Fei with a faint smile on his face. Senior Lin, I heard you were looking for me. Lin Fei also got straight to the point. I know that President, who is a very smart president and a great beauty. I don't know if you're interested in the Tao heart. I've been short on spirit stones recently. Humeli suppressed the excitement in her heart. She knew it would be like this. He didn't expect Xiong Batian to be right. This Senior Lin Fei was really lacking in spirit stones. Senior Lin, it's Humeli's honor that you're interested in me. Isn't it just spirit stones? Don't hesitate to ask. I will definitely help you gather it. Not to mention anything else. The Dark Nether Chamber of Commerce can gather at least 80 million middle-grade spirit stones for you. If Senior wants more upper-grade spirit stones, I can also gather some, but not much. Just 2 or 3 million upper-grade spirit stones. Lin Fei really didn't think that much. He didn't expect this, Humeili, to be so rich. No, it should be said that the Dark Nether Chamber of Commerce was a little rich to actually be able to take out so many middle-grade spirit stones. Of course, they definitely had some reservations. Lin Fei didn't really care about this. He just wanted middle-grade spirit stones. It would be even better if there were upper-grade spirit stones. Lin Fei waved his hand and took out a few Dao hearts. They were all rank 9. As for the others, he didn't take them out. He was afraid that Humeili wouldn't be able to handle it. Even so, Humeili's expression changed. She was glad that she met a benefactor. Lin Fei was her benefactor in life. A Dao heart could create an insightful emptiness realm expert. These Dao hearts would be a few insightful emptiness realm experts. She didn't even dare to think about it. Thank you, Senior Lin, for thinking so highly of me. I will immediately gather 100 million middle-grade spirit stones for you. Humeili wouldn't take advantage of him. As soon as she saw these Dao hearts, she immediately raised the number of middle-grade spirit stones to 100 million. 100 million middle-grade spirit stones was considered a huge number. Lin Fei was very satisfied with Humeili's actions. She was indeed a person that he had a good impression of. And in the next second, a fluctuation came from the void. Xiong, who was originally resting with his eyes closed, was suddenly attacked by 5 experts. The 5 black experts were very strong. The power of the 5 great Dao gathered together and formed a strange attack, instantly causing Xiong to fall into a dead end. Xiong was almost in despair. Senior, save me. When the 5 black-robed men heard this, they couldn't wait to kill Xiong. Whether there was a senior or not, they had to kill Xiong first. The great Dao defense on Xiong body broke in an instant, not even a breath of time. Xiong was scared out of his wits. Xiong had seen the capabilities of these 5 people. Because he had been chased by them, he only had that little lifespan left. His heart was filled with hatred. He didn't expect them to still dare to chase him, and even attack him in broad daylight. This was something that Xiong didn't expect. The only thing left in his mind was that Senior Lin, and only he could save his life. Seeing that the killer move was about to land on him, killing him, a ripple appeared and covered Xiong. You guys are a little too much to kill under my eyes. A voice that was neither soft nor loud rang in the minds of the 5 black-robed men. The 5 of them let out a muffled groan. After a gust of wind blew over, the 5 of them looked at each other and left in an instant. Drops of fresh blood splattered on the ground. The moment the 5 of them disappeared, Xiong collapsed to the ground. Humeili rushed out too, and when she saw the pathetic Xiong, her face was filled with anger. How dare they barge into the Dark Spirit Trade Union to kill people? I will definitely not let them off. This was equivalent to slapping Humeili in the face. If Xiong were to really die in this trade union, Humeili would be in big trouble. Lin Fei didn't do much, and with just a light move, he forced the 5 of them to leave. Xiong is really suffering to actually chase us all the way here. No wonder he didn't leave. These people are probably guarding outside. Xiong staggered in. He knelt in front of Lin Fei. Thank you for saving me, Senior. I want to spend 100 million. Please send me back.